We've got...
And game 2 was Nemesis, by the way. Global. I think they're just playing 3 games.
I'm going to find the promised land.
Hello and welcome into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We have a lot of League of Legends on our hands tonight. We got the Mountain West League of Legends Fall Tournament. Boise State taking on UNLV later. But to kick things off, get the players all warmed up, we're going to have some in-house ARAMs. League of Legends team getting a little bit jealous that Overwatch and Rocket League forced to play each other by NACE rules. So they said, hey, let's take on each other. So we've got in-house ARAMs to kick things off. Then we'll go into the Mountain West Fall League of Legends Tournament, Boise State versus UNLV. To help me call all of the ARAM action, I am Michael Fisher. I'm going to be joined by Daniel Glovely Clock. Glovely joining us here for some ARAM action. He'll stick with us for the rest of the night. And Glovely, are you excited for ARAM? I know I've seen you online, on the ladder. How often are you in an ARAM game?
I actually play quite a fair bit of ARAM. It's the game mode I like to unwind, maybe to prepare myself before jumping into ranked, or just to play around with friends when I don't want to worry about the competitiveness level of Summoner's Rift. It's also a great place to find a lot of champions that you don't get to see very often on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, if you are unfamiliar, ARAM stands for All Random, All Mid. Players going to be given random champions. There'll be just one lane, and they'll duke it out. A little bit different than their standard League of Legends. Of course, it's always a ton of fun. As you mentioned, there is sort of their own meta, if you will, in ARAM, despite it being random. A lot of the assassins you might see not going to have a lot of fun because you're going to get in, kill one target, and say, hey, there's still 4 people around me. What are you doing? So, yeah, as you mentioned it, you get to see some different champions. I'm going to be really excited. Apparently, I'm told that one of our Boise State players is basically GM in ARAM is what I've been told. The man plays it a lot and apparently is very good, so we'll keep an eye out for Galaxy Savage on the Boise State Orange League team, how he does. There it is, Blue versus Orange in League of Legends. It is going to be a ton of fun. Blue team right now has the edge. The Overwatch Blue team won, so I'll be curious to see if Orange Blue team is able to pull it off, Glovely. And I know it's all random, but are there certain champions you're looking out for if either team gets one as we hop right into the game?
Yeah, when you look at champions that you really think are doing well in ARAM, you're typically looking for champions who can poke out the opponent very easily. Champions like Dr. Mundo, Lux, Ziggs, Veigar is incredibly powerful, and now we already see an engagement.
Yeah, so you're going to see First Blood go over to AD Carry. He's got that Dark Harvest, so that's going to be stacking up even more. Goblin on the Mundo. Probably not a great choice. Nice stun there by Bombot's champion Baratel on the Leona. Unfortunately, not able to pick up any sort of win. And you do see the Ornn there as well. I got to say, Orange team definitely feels like I like their lineup a little bit better. The one thing I like in ARAM Glovely is I kind of see, okay, could I actually play this team in a real game? Orange team you could probably pull off on an actual Summoner's Rift game.
Yeah, on top of that, Orange also has the AD carry advantage. There we have an engagement here, though.
Nice stun on Dean. He's immediately going to go down. Red Hot's doing a great job on that Pike, playing it against Dean, a champion we've seen on a ton in the past. Goblin trying to get those cleavers on. We're going to have a little bit easier time. Flash from Red Hot. He's going to dance around a little bit, knowing that he absolutely whiffed off that one, showing why he is not the support player for Boise State. Charm onto AD carry, but Evelyn probably not going to have a fun of a time here as she would on the normal game, as Red Hot taking a little bit of damage. He's going to be engaged in on by Baratel. Nice stun. Dean going to pick up that kill, and Boise State Orange with another kill to their name.
Yeah, the thing I like about Orange's playstyle here is that they're playing underneath their turret. It keeps them relatively safe. It's hard for Blue to engage upon them, especially since Amumu is really the only champion who can really dive on top of you, aside from perhaps the Pike. And it gives them the opportunity to counter-engage whenever someone tries to go in on one of their members.
You know, if you do, by the way, just as an update, something to keep an eye on for the rest of the night, is Baratel flashed in there. He's with the Hex Flash trying to land a hook. Scarface is Thug, different account, but the same player. He'll be on that account later tonight as well, so don't be concerned if Boise State appears to have a new jungler. Prominence Play going to get the knock-up on the Goblin. He'll be forced to flash away. Doesn't look like he engaged yet from Thug. Nice flash away there by Ascent, trying to make sure he doesn't get caught out. Orange team starting to push.
They're doing such a great job of tempering their aggression, taking control of the pace of the game. They are starting to push in now, which could give some danger there. They do catch out Team, though.
Goblin going to get the first one eliminated there by Promise Play. You can see how low he is. The mark for the charm has fully completed, but Woojin's not going to be able to get the taunt. And for Orange Team, though, the one thing you got to be worried about, Amumu's probably always going to land 4 or 5-man ult, so they've got to be really prepared as soon as he hits level 6.
Yeah, that level 6 power spike is important for a lot of champions, especially in ARAM. And you hit it a lot sooner than you do on Summoner's Rift, because you are naturally gaining additional gold and experience passively over time.
See, right now looks like Blue Team going to hang under their turret, probably waiting for an engage from either Red Hot, as the hook just lands onto Prominent Blade. He's not able to charge away. First elimination over to the blue side. Did have a flash in there by Dean as well, but not level 6, so he was not able to ult anyone. You're getting closer and closer to those level 6 power spikes. Is there a team you favor between Blue and Orange with the ultimates?
I absolutely favor Orange Team. Look at some of the stuff they've got in their lineup here as we do see an engage.
See Red Hot is very low up in the bush. Galaxy Savage ignited. He will go down, and Blue Team starting to bleed members. Nice ult there on the Dean, and he's going to be the first elimination for the Blue squad in this. Kale ult's going to come out. Not going to save anyone as Goblin picks up a kill onto Baratel as well. Nice job there by AD Carry. He's going to cut off some of the map. Orenhorn's going to pick up a flash in. Good job by Woojin flashing away, and now Promise Play, got to be careful with that turret. And a nice kill on to Scarface for the Orange Team there. And you got to be worried if you're Woojin. You see Red Hot's come in, misses the ult unfortunately, but thanks to the new summoner spell there in ARAM, able to get a couple of nations, and Orange now going to get wiped off the map, which is not a bad thing. You're not allowed to back in ARAM, so they're able to spend some of that gold.
Yeah, engage there from the Blue Team. Orange trying to capitalize on top of that, but unfortunately they overextend themselves trying to chase down Boise State Blue, end up getting themselves caught. Solar Flare under the turret though.
Unfortunately for Baratel, there was no turret aggro and no one there to back him up, so that is going to be a whiffed ultimate there. Still has the flash, he wants to re-engage. Charm from Regent is going to land, but not a lot to save for. You gotta love Evelyn in this as well, because she's gonna have that passive healing. One of the few champions actually gonna be able to heal back up after taking a decent bit of damage.
Yeah, usually you have to, if you're a tank champion, you gotta buy a Warmogs. We do see Curse of the Sad Mummy come out though.
3-man stun. All it's going to result for, unfortunately, is one elimination onto Ascent. You can see the health bar is extremely low for the blue side. If the Orange team can get a re-invade, their Galaxy Savage going in. Not going to be able to land anything. Looks like he's running the newly skinned skin. Probably one of my favorites of the Dragon set here. He's going to engage onto Prominence Blade, who's dropping very low. Nice knock-up onto Galaxy Savage. Shut down from Baratel. They're going to have to trade one as well. Prominence Blade going down to Goblin. Nice job by Galaxy Savage getting in on top of Dean as well. And now AD Carry on Natalia. Going to try and do what he can to get away, but those Bundo's Cleavers going to make it very hard. Baratel trying to play that Bruiser. Leona going to pick up one and then assist on a second one. The team's staying very, very even. Scarface unfortunately going to miss the stun. Baratel has one of his own, in a sense going to get one right back.
Yeah, credit here to Boise State Blue. They are doing a great job of playing these front-to-back team fights. They're getting their backline onto the enemy backline. That is the advantage of the Assassins. If you can bait the enemy front line into engaging with you, there's not a lot of peel protection options against multiple members when you're playing Malzahar, Kale, or Talia.
Can see for the orange squad. They have two Tear of the Goddess items. Does have the quick charge effect, so it'll go a little faster, but still something they're going to play towards the late game, if you will, in ARAM, which usually is about the 20-25 minute mark there. No one taking down the turrets quite yet. We're going to see the snowball coming in from Scarface, not going to land onto anyone, but we're just waiting for an engage. There he goes. He's going to land onto a minion. Decides not to drop the Curse of Sad Money. Doesn't have it up. Instead, the Ornhorn's going to come out. Stun onto 2. Solar Flare from Goblin also going to land. Just barely escapes the Zenith Blade. Woojin tried to get in on the backline. It did not help. Stun onto Scarface, the Mummy trying to get away. You can see how tanky he is. Unfortunately, not able to really do much damage back. 80 carry going to pick up another one, starting to add up on those Dark Harvest stacks. Something that's really easy to stack at ARAM, and him and Woojin both have it on each side.
Something really important to mention here is that Boise State Blue does not have an AD carry. They don't have a champion like a marksman who's really good at breaking down these towers. So as a result, Boise State Orange with the Kale is going to have that pressure advantage on the objective there. We do see an attempted hook come out. There's the dive.
Yeah, Veritel's going to go in onto the tower. He's going to take a ton of damage playing that tank Leona. Nice 4-man Curse of the Sad Mummy from Scarface. Red Hot picks up 1, and he's just going to start spamming R all over the place. That's an 8 for Boise State Blue.
And that's a support champion, remind you, everyone, who is planning on going into your games at home later and putting Pike in all of my solo queue games. That is a support champion who just picked up a triple kill, and it's incredibly valuable in ARAM when everyone is together because you're spreading that gold around to so many different members of your team every time you land that ult.
Yeah, and you did see a couple of members from Blue go in. As you can see, there is no backing in ARAM, so they're trying to get back, trying to get the suicide there for the extra gold. Unfortunately, gave both kills over to Kale, so that's going to have some extra money there. Galaxy Savage going to get caught out. Woojin tried the same thing, so that's one thing you got to be careful of. You got to be extremely sure you're going to just not give over free gold like 2 members of the blue team did.
That pressure advantage is really huge for Boise State Blue, though. They did pick up the first tower of the game, and that's a great sign that their team is doing well. Oftentimes, the team who takes the first tower takes the win, and that could, in fact, prove true here.
Yeah, the one nice thing for Orange is that the fact that the Ornhorn's probably going to hit almost anyone with the Call of the Forge God because the map is so small. Scarface going to land one onto 80 carry. Does not quite have the ultimate up yet. Veritel trying to get a stun in on probably Red Hots, who's now playing that pseudo assassin carry role for Boise State Blue. Not going to be able to get it. You can see the Dark Harvest from Prominence Blade. Going to go over to probably Woojin or Red Hot on the side of Boise State Blue.
Yeah, we're not yet at the point in the game where the tanks are starting to pick up their Warmog, so they don't have a lot of sustain. It's a lot easier to poke out these tanks. So a lot of time here in the early game, they'll just go in to try and get as good of an engage as they can get and hope they survive long enough for their team to follow up on it.
Sonic Wave going to land on the Veritel. No engage this time from Galaxy Savage, deciding that even if he hit it, he's not going to go in. You can see Dean has the ultimate online, as well as that sort of pseudo's Banshee's Veil. So Boise State Orange probably has a slight advantage in the team fight here. I do like 80 carry bringing the unconventional Ignite against the Mundo. That is going to help them sort of shut down any healing he wants to do already with the Spirit of Tsar.
Yeah, personally, I really like Ignite as a summoner spell. Just about any time. It's great for putting kill pressure when you don't have key things like ultimates up and available. There's Curse of the Sad Mummy.
Lands onto 2. There's the Ornhorn from Prominence Blade, but he's going to be CC'd down by Woojin. Going to stop the whole Yak from going across the screen. There's the support champion, Red Hot, so is going to get suppressed under the tower, so he will go down. Going to trade 3 members for just the 1. 80 carry and Dean now incredibly low. And you've got to start being concerned about how well Boise State Orange can survive. Red Hot just continuously diving over and over. Dean now going to get flashed on, trying to get an elimination onto Galaxy Savage. Not going to get it. 80 carry does have the extra shield, but it's not going to matter, and that's another near team kill to the side of Boise State Blue, and they're not quite done yet. As you see Prominence Blade, he's going to engage in, should be able to find out Goblin. Doesn't look like they'll be able to pick up another turret. Can they get the low health members? You see Scarface just standing there, probably wants to back for some extra gold. Nice finding out on Woojin there as well. Gets the knockup, but Prominence Blade extremely squishy for what you usually see in an Orn. 1 elimination over to his set. Going to have the flip over by Red Hot onto Veritel. Not going to matter though.
And you can see just how these tanks are dominating the matchup here as we do see an engagement back onto double kill there. For Ascent is going to back away with the flash though. Woojin trying to follow up as the teams go back and forth.
There's that man again. Red Hot just playing the hit the R champion there. He gets a triple kill before finally being CC'd down. And Boise State Orange has got to find a way to shut down Red Hots on that Pike.
We do now have a 4K gold lead, 3K gold lead on the side of Boise State, almost 4K, thanks to the additional gold they're getting from that Pike, those additional gold being passed around from every elimination. They still have their first tower up, so great job by them. You can see how they can dictate the pace using the cooldown of the Curse of the Sad Mummy, so fans at home, pay close attention to that cooldown.
The engage there from Scarface. Berto's going to do his best to try and peel for Dean. Already landed the stun. Can't land a Zenith Blade to get the root. Going to flash over, trying to body block, and now they're finally able to pick up one onto Goblin, nearly knocking Scarface in. Dean doing a great job. He's got to be careful one more time. Boise State Orange going to capitalize on the over-aggression of Boise State Blue.
Yeah, we are getting now into the later half of the game. Ascent has now picked up, has hit level 12. It means he has access to the additional wave clear he gets on his auto attacks once he fully ascends. Does pick up Woojin there as Dean attempts. Red Hot's in the back line. Doesn't land the ultimate though. He's going to go down, and they'll pick up their first turret of the game.
Yeah, nice flash by Dean. We see Galaxy Savage going to try and land the kick away, but it's probably not going to matter. He does get a shutdown, though, onto Ascent before finally going down. Baratel going to pick up his second kill of that engage. You can really see right now you got two sort of pseudo carries, the 10-7 Pike and the 10-6 KO, both of them trying to respawn at the moment. AD Carry going to use the shield from his Sephiroth's Embrace to try and survive. Ornhorn is going to come out. Promise Blade going to land it onto Scarface. Looks like the rest of the team, though, let's try and focus down Goblin. Zenith Blade going to land stun as well. Dean going to use that spell shield. Unfortunately, Curse of the Sad Mummy comes up. Scarface able to pick up his first elimination before going down. And now we'll see if the chase is on for blue side. You see Woojin there is in on the back line. He's trying to get an assassination. Might not even matter. Red Hots picks up one. It's a 2-on-2. They haven't quite find out Evelyn. She's going to hop right onto Barrett. They'll get the elimination with the ultimate. Prominence Blade. Now the lone remaining member is Ascent comes charging and trying to help out. And he immediately just gets evaporated from the map. Promise Blade, not much else he could do, and a triple kill for Woojin on the Evelyn.
Sometimes you just got to leave your tank behind to get wiped out. I mean, it's great to be able to engage and to pick up those big eliminations, but you didn't have full information as to where the enemy team was. It was a 3 versus 2. There was nothing KO was going to be able to do in that position without being extremely far ahead.
Yeah, I am a little disappointed that Baratel has not opted for the full bruiser. I'm going to carry this game late. Owner definitely something I'm a huge fan of in ARAM because everyone turns into a carry in ARAM. There are no tanks. If you play a tank in ARAM and you build it as a tank, you're just not any fun in my book. Nice hook onto AD Carry. You're going to see Red Hot's able to escape, and the Orange team probably trying to find a way back in. But as you mentioned, Glovely, that gold from the Pike assist gold really starting to add up. As Chris has said, Bowie's going to land onto a couple of members. Ascent's going to have to shield it and flash away. Scarface right now just running down Dean despite everyone from Boise State Orange being there. Ultimate going to be able to shut him down. The teams will trade 1 for 1. Ascent's going to get one back, but Goblin right now pops the ultimate. He is incredibly tanky. Prominence Blade trying to flash to shut down this Mundo. There is the knockup, but you can see Woojin and Galaxy Savage in on the backline. They're immediately going to evaporate Ascent. AD Carry trying to get away as well. You can see Goblin hopping right on there. Tries to ult to make some distance, and he's just barely able to survive Galaxy Savage now. And Prominence Blade having a nice little 1v1. This should favor the Orange. He is going to try and land a kill onto AD Carry. Doesn't look like it's going to land, and that's an 8 for Boise State Orange.
Credit to AD Carry, he was so big in that fight, using his ability to peel to constantly keep people from being able to assassinate him, giving himself more distance, just backing up and backing up and backing up, and allowing him to refresh the damage ability on his work ground, on his Q, being able to consistently put out that damage and keep space between himself and the enemy front line.
Hook on to what looked to be Prominence Blade there, and Boise State Orange now trying to see what they could do with this advantage. Haven't been able to quite find their second tower of the game. Neither team has. And now Blue team, as you talked about, Glove, you can see Chris the Sad Mummy is online, so can Scarface get into range? Does not have the flash or the snowball up at the moment, but Boise State Orange has got to be very keenly aware of that cooldown.
Yeah, it's such an important cooldown to this match. It just dictates the pace of every ARAM he's in. He only catches one with it.
Only gets onto one, and that is onto Veritel, probably the worst member for Boise State Blue to land that onto. Scarface dropping extremely low. He is going to be the first one to go down. Another one onto Woojin, and now Boise State Orange, now that Kale has started to get on the late game, power spike level of 14, Ascent's going to pick up a triple kill, and now the question is, can Boise State Blue shut down the Kale?
Yeah, that Kale is at that point where she's just such a dominant champion. Still has a couple levels to go before she is fully ascended, but now Boise State Orange going to pick up their second turret and possibly the inhibitor here. Most likely, they're almost uncontested. Beartail diving really deep. There's the ultimate from Kale, and they do, in fact, pick up one more elimination.
Beartail had no fear of the tower. That is why he is the BombBot's reigning champion for Boise State. No fear of anything in his sight as he's able to get that elimination. Looks like he's going to Hex Flash away there. Can the full engage for Boise State Blue be the difference maker? Ult from Red Hot's going to miss, and that's going to be huge because he's not going to get the reset there. They are going to get a kill onto Dean. Boise State Orange trying to disengage. Beartail missing on the Zenith blade, so he's not able to get the root. You can see Ascent has been slowed. He's going to get stunned down by Red Hot and immediately taken down. AD Carry going to try and do what he can, but unfortunately it looks like he is going to fall after picking up one elimination. Beartail and Prominence Blade, the only two remaining members. Probably not much they can do but just stall for time, but also try and not spread out the death timers. You see Prominence Blade, he's hiding in a bush. Not much he's going to be able to do, and that's another ace for Boise State Orange. Or Boise State Blue, I mean.
Yeah, Boise State Blue doing a great job there, capitalizing on Orange's position. Their champions are really great for chasing people down, locking them into position. We did see Curse of the Sad Mummy get used during that fight, lock down 3 members there of Boise State Orange. So great job by them, taking advantage of the over-aggression. They might be able to get a turret out of it based on the additional pressure and the movement that they were able to get across the map. We do see Ultimate come out onto Woojin.
Barely able to flash away, but Ascent has other ideas. He's going to flash for the kill. He's now level 16, a fully ascended Kale.
Oh no.
He does have the ultimate, but it really does not matter at this point. Actually not able to ult in time. Red Hot's trying to do what he can to keep Boise State Blue in, so they will be able to take down the Kale, the only really extreme carry on Boise State Orange. You can see 17, 10, and 16 nearly fully built. Red Hot's now trying to get another elimination. Going to break the passive there on Dean to start things off. Galaxy Savage extremely low. Key will just fall down to the dot damage. Zenith Blade going to miss. There's the Solar Effect plus the Orin Horn combination. That's going to get one. Can they get Goblin? He's used the ultimate. He's trying to run away with as much health as he has. The Zenith Blade's going to land. Snowball's going to land as well. Goblin, you see how tanky Mundo is finally going down. Woojin is here. The charm is up on AD Carry. Nice use of the stopwatch there to prevent from going down. You see Beartail engaging in on the backline. Lance Zenith Blade gets the stun as well. Gonna get another Zenith Blade just fully CCing down that Evelyn. Ult's gonna come on to Scarface from Dean. And Boise State Orange, it looks like to be a nice little comeback here as they spread out the members, super minions pushing. Should be able to finish off this game. It's just Galaxy Savage and Red Hot alive. Great use of the stopwatch by Dean to prevent another reset for Red Hot's on that Pike. Ascent's going to be able to pick up that kill, but there are no Nexus turrets left anymore. Galaxy Savage trying to get a kill onto AD Carry. He will be able to pick it up, but with just Mundo left alive, this should be an easy win for Boise State Orange, assuming they go for the Nexus. Beartail's going to do all the work he can, and Boise State Orange picking up their first win here.
Congratulations to Boise State Orange. Great play over there overall by their team. Great adaptation as well to the situation as it progressed throughout the game. Boise State Blue had 3 assassins on their team, and they were making great work of the bushes to try and pick off ambushes to set themselves up to get at Orange's backline. But unfortunately, Orange made an adaptation. They had Beartail's Leona stay behind, use that crowd control to peel for his team, and it gave them a lot more space and leeway in those fights, enough to take the victory.
See the players here in the arena warming up for their Mountain West League of Legends game later tonight against UNLV. If you are still interested in some Modern Warfare 2019, we've got the Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational coming up on October 10th. Thanks to the Idaho Army National Guard. If you have any questions, want to get registered, need any more information, you can see all their social media. Go check them out there. Going to be a 2-man Warzone tournament, so a little bit different than the other Modern Warfare 2019 events that we've had with the Idaho Army National Guard. So going to be a lot of fun. That's coming up in just about a week from now. But we've got League of Legends on our mind here tonight. Fish and Glovely calling all the action. We've got an in-house ARAM to kick things off as the League of Legends team maybe get a little bit jealous that the other squads were having some in-house games. And then we'll go right into the Mountain West League of Legends Fall Tournament. The Broncos going to be taking on the Running Rebels of UNLV. And this game is going to be a little bit different, Glovely. We had ARAM for the last game. I've been told this is going to be a nemesis game where they're going to pick the champions for the other team. So I'll be really curious to see what they put on each player.
There's definitely a lot of strategies you can go into when trying to assume what sort of draft that your opponent is getting. You can, of course, try to draft champions that the champions your opponents give you are directly countering. There's also the option that I've seen at times to give the opposition like all AD champions and then just build Thornmail and all your members and see how that goes. So just, have a full tank lineup. You have a lot of options for how you can sort of mess with your opponent's strategy, especially if you're giving them champions that they're just not comfortable on.
You know what? I'm going to say it. If it was me there, I'd give Ascent Rumble. I would say, I'm not afraid. I ain't scared. Do it.
I would be absolutely terrified.
I would do it. I would say, let's go. And no one else is going to let him play it. I would let him play it. I would say, let's go. Let's see how he plays. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I could hear him in the background saying he would love it for me to be picking his champions. Unfortunately, I'm just a caster. I'm not a player, so I don't get a pick. But that's what I would do. I would say that I have no fear. And then I put the rest of them on, like, troll champions.
I mean, when you're talking troll champions, that leaves a lot of other champions that we normally like to see that don't get picked up on the table. Like Teemo would be a really great choice for this draft because a lot of people kind of undervalue what Teemo brings to the table. Personally, I think he has a lot of value in ARAM, although a lot of that value tends to fall off as soon as the opposition picks up an Oracle lens and starts revealing all those traps. But you do have sort of the assassination style you can play. You can force the opposition to burn those resources in order to deal with your mushrooms and still have things like the blinding dart. So that's a champion we could see. Mark Dash is also great for champions that that normally have a hard time closing in on opponents, like Juggernauts. So Mordekaiser, Alawi, Garen, come on, guys.
Yeah, well, you know what? I put a Rumble on Ascent. I bring a Garen in for you, Glovely. I put an Annie in for Doc, and then we go from there. But we'll have to see. This is Boise State Blue versus Boise State Orange. Nice little in-house ARAM tournament to get the evening started. Boise State Orange won the first one in traditional ARAM style, and I've been told that this next game is a nemesis game where each team drafted for the other team. You could definitely see that coming through there. We've got things like Aurelion Sol, who we haven't seen in who knows how long. We've got the Ivern. I am very disappointed in Boise State Blue that they were not man enough to put Ascent onto the Rumble.
One thing that you do have to worry about is Baratil is on this Udyr. This is the champion he used to beat the Rocket League team in the Production versus Rocket League match last year. It's a great champion in terms of just the versatility. It's got incredible move speed, and he's got the Mark Dash available, so it's really easy for him to jump in and land that bear slap onto targets.
Yeah, he also got Ascent on the Lucian, which is something he's actually played in a couple of games and done very well on. As we can see, AD Carry taking a ton of damage on that Aurelion Skull. Scarface going to go in as well. I'll be very curious to see how this works out because some of these are troll, and then things like Evelyn I'm kind of shocked on because we saw Woojin make a couple of great plays, and Scarface, unfortunately, probably not the time you want to have a connection error as he is going to be just eliminated under the tower. He was charged with the snowball, and the AI decided that is exactly what he was going to keep doing.
Yeah, first blood over to Baratil on that Udyr. Keep an eye on. We also see Yorick doing a great job spawning all of those extra, what are they called? The ghouls, I think is what they're called.
It's spooky season, so we'll call them Ghouls. At least we see it engaged there. Stun did land on the Galaxy Savage. Kane not able to get onto the wall. Dean dropping low as well. You can just see the Ignite going to be the thing that picks it up. Ascent getting the second elimination for Boise State Orange, but a re-engage is going to come with low health bars all around. First elimination on going to go to Red Hot, taking down Prominence Blade. Ascent going to get caught out as well. That's a double kill on to Red Hot. And once again, Red Hot's in peak form for the blue team. Second game in a row, he's been off to a great start.
Yeah, I do really like what Blue has drafted for Orange. There's not a lot of crowd control on that side, and yet they have tons of crowd control on their side. You have the opportunity to make Kane into the red Kane, and that'll give him a knockup. You've got Nunu with the biggest snowball ever with the lockdown from the snowball toss. Yorick can, of course, trap opponents, and that's really great for denying Aurelion Sol the opportunity to engage as Red Hot ends up on a killing spree.
Yeah, Red Hot's on his third one. Also, I believe Galaxy Savage's most played champion this season is Kane, so an interesting choice there by Boise State Orange, giving Galaxy Savage a champion that he is extremely comfortable on in solo queue, so he's going to know it in and out. And once again, it's a different game, same result. You see Boise State Orange just trying to hug the tower, clear the minions when they can. They do not have a lot of great wave care when Aurelion Sol is not on the table.
Yeah, that's definitely something they're going to have to worry about. They will be able to make up for it with items as the game goes on, picking up things like Tiamat, Sunfire Cape, and whatnot. We do see an engagement with the greatest snowball ever. Doesn't land, however, is going to be forced to back away.
He's going to be able to use the tunnel to get rid of that one. Going to see the healing globe there stolen away by Boise State Blue. Did look like Baratil and maybe one other member on the orange side able to sneak in. But right now, it's still the same story. The orange team, they push the minions and they say, okay, we don't want to get caught. So they're just really hanging back right now.
Yeah, and sometimes that very careful, very tempered approach is the better option here, especially in situations where the opposition has the stronger engage on their team, which is the case with the crowd control on Blue's side. So they're just trying to find openings. They have made it into a 6 versus 5 with the summoning of the Maiden. So we'll see what Boise State Orange is going to do in response. Absolute Zero in the corner, though. Does manage to catch it by the slow and dash out of the way.
Yeah, great job there, realizing the slow had landed. Prominent Play going to try and engage on the back line. Going to try and use the ult to get out. Now does have the Maiden hunting him, as well as the Mark from Red Hot. Looks like he is able to survive. Going to go into stealth and do a bit of healing. But once again, Orange just clearing out the minions and being extremely cautious right now. Blue, a full team retreat over there to get some extra healing.
Yeah, you got to pay attention to those med packs. They are going to give you additional healing and mana sustain. And sustain is very important in this mode if you want to keep on fighting and collecting gold. However, we do have an engage.
AD Carry going to get the first elimination. Prominent Play got to be careful. He is going to be traded off as well. Woojin extremely low. Orange team going to pick up another one. Dean not able to get out the tower, is going to hunt him even underground. So the teams will trade a nice clean 2 for 2. Daisy in there as well to sort of give Blue team a slight numbers advantage. But for now, it doesn't look like anyone else is going to go down. Low health bars all around mean a double disengage.
Yeah, neither team has really picked up any particularly huge items. We do see one exception, though, the Storm Razor's Edge for the Quinn there. As an engagement onto Ascent, Galaxy Savage picks up the elimination as the rest retreats. Here comes the greatest snowball ever, but Red Hots picks up the elimination before Nunu can get there.
Yeah, Red Hots came in thanks to the Quinn passive and just immediately started running down the low health members of the Orange side. He is 4-1-1. Second game in a row. Red Hots off to a fantastic start for Blue team. Really putting in work last game on the Pike, just wasn't enough. Greatest snowball ever. Gonna land the knockup on to Dean. 80 carry just barely surviving. The kick had landed from Red Hot, but he wasn't able to get the follow-up shot off. But you still could see that Providence played. He's going to try and go the flash charm there. Not quite as much damage, and Woojin at full health means that AD Carry has to be very careful. The stun is going to land. Scarface is going to go down as well. Dean now trying to find out Woojin. Looks like Boise State Orange going to be able to get some back here, tie it up at 7 aside.
And these are relatively full health and mana bars for the side of Orange because they were eliminated. They had to go back. But that is the advantage of an elimination, is that you get access to all of that gold. You get a full health and mana bar. You get to reset with this new power level in mind and see what you can do with the stuff that you've earned.
There's a charm hovering over Red Hot, and it's like Providence Blade landed anything onto it as it is going to fade. Greatest snowball ever going to come charging down, just going to miss that brush where 3 members of the Orange team were. You can see AD Carry trying to sustain the best he can. He was very low health, not able to get that healing pack, so he is just hanging back. Probably has a quick spawn on that back one. Greatest snowball ever being charged up. You can already see Dean has finished the Edge of Night, so he does not want to be hit by any of these crowd controls. Snowballs being flung at Providence Blade, but Orange team right now being extremely careful. Here comes AD Carry down the wave. Stun's going to hit some minions.
I'd like to draw some attention to Scarface. He's using the greatest snowball ever, not just as an engagement tool, but also to be able to separate members of Orange and Blue as they split either way to try and avoid the snowball. It allows the rest of his team to follow. Look, we see 2 members now caught out on their own. The Rek'Sai gets away. It looks like Evelyn is also going to be able to back off. Providence Blade staying alive.
Galaxy Savage gets the knockup and then immediately goes down to the culling. The Maiden and Daisy going to come in to even things right back up. Red Hot's able to get one onto Baratel. D going to get one onto Goblin. You can see Scarface barely escaping. Red Hot gets knocked up. Dean's able to finish that one off. But now Woojin, basically full health, has 2 low health members he's got to deal with. Nice dash away by a set. It's probably not going to matter. It actually is. I thought he was going to go down to the Q. Scarface now just chilling there. He's got 2 very low health members. Greatest snowball ever gets the knockup onto a set, but he just can't finish the deal. And Boise State Orange, by the skin of their teeth, going to survive. We'll see if those members are able to run to the turret before anyone else comes back.
Yeah, overall.
Nope.
Oh, there we go. Little deletion there. Kane is going to pick up both of those and a shutdown on one of those. That'll be great for him. Trying to close the gap here on Baratel. I don't think he has the damage to finish him off, though. Is going to ult, but brings himself under the tower. Knocked up there while he takes a couple of turret shots.
Yeah, the charm did not land. It does not matter regardless. Red Hot's still going to get one under the turret before Baratel lands the stun and able to get a double kill of his own. You see he has the Iceborne Gauntlet, so he has gone full CC Udyr. A little disappointed it's not Tiger Stance Udyr, as I said. He just play full DPS in ARAM. That's where all the fun is. Prominence Blade, nice job stealing the health pack there away from the blue side. He is going to get found out, though. Woojin and Goblin going to deal with him in short order. Meanwhile, Scarface has been stunned up by Baratel, but he should be able to get away just using the Absolute Zero, but it was stopped.
Yeah, great use of the Absolute Zero, just to sort of zone people off, say, hey, this is a really threatening place you don't want to be. Greatest snowball ever trying to engage.
Not going to land onto anyone. Baratel trying to get a stun on Red Hot's going to get kicked back, and nice flip away there by Red Hot to be able to stay alive. The Ghoul chasing down Ascent, but he was not scared despite it being October, and I'm sure that Ghoul probably hits for like 1 extra true damage knowing Riot since it is spooky season. But see, this is what I'm talking about with Scarface. The man's going Rabadons first, and I appreciate that build in ARAM. If you are just joining us, Scarface is Ethug on a different account. You'll see him on that tonight as well against UNLV, so not a different player for Boise, just a different name. Prominence Blade going to pick up the first one on to Red Hots. He's gone from 4-1 to 6-5 just in the matter of a few fights.
Overall, great adaptations from both sides. Paying attention to where the engages are happening and where to pick off. And now we see the Wall of Ghouls. It's a great tool for cutting off this Aurelion Soul now. He is locked down. Going to be pinned down in place as the engagement comes back the other way.
He's engaged there by Dean. He's able to pick up one, but the tower helping. He's going to even things out at one side. Galaxy Savage going to ult on the Baratel, get some of that extra healing. Prominence Blade waiting on the top side, trying to find maybe a pick target as Red Hot's back in the fight. He's going to get one. Ascent's going to trade that kill for himself, and now we see Prominence Blade going to pick up one of his own. Star's going to come out from AD carry. There's a dash right back in by Prominence Blade. You see the 2 low health members. He's getting a little greedy. Stars are going to draw tower aggro to AD carry, but he's barely able to survive. Minion's going to block the greatest snowball ever.
All it'll take is one little tap from the Stars, and he could have a double kill, so they have to be extremely careful about this. Prominence Blade is going to pick one up. Will he pick up the other? Is going to try and close in, but no, it's going to go over to AD carry on his Aurelion Soul. The Stars just giving one little bop.
Yeah, now AD carry unfortunately has to be worried. Prominence Blade on the Kane, able to go outside the map. Red Hots with the Hawk there, able to move extremely quick. So AD carry once again finding himself in a situation where he's very low. Dean's going to engage in on Red Hot, doing a ton of damage, but unfortunately just barely able to get out. There's Galaxy Savage. He's going to get that snipe onto the poor half Dragon Man, and Boise State Orange going to have to retreat just a little bit.
Yeah, but they do have a lot of pressure that they can put on, especially when they get a man advantage. However, Prominence Blade is going to pick up an elimination, uses the ultimate just to escape.
Stealth is a fun mechanic. Thanks, Riot. No idea where Prominence Blade is. So hard to find out. Oh, and by the way, he heals up to 60% while he's stealth. So that's going to be a very, very annoying champion for Boise State Blue to deal with. You can see now they've gotten back to a full 5-man team for the side of Boise State Blue. Aurelion Soul coming in. He'll have some extra mobility, but Dean might get caught out first. Wall Ghoul's going to come up. He's going to commit the ultimate, but it's not going to matter. Kill on to Galaxy Savage and then the disengage.
Does manage to get some low health bars on that side, though. Is going to, unfortunately not going to matter in the long run here. Prominence Blade does find out this Quinn here in the bush. Is going to get shut down for it, though. Not able to get the full burst on without the ultimate available.
On AD carry, he's going to ult just to create some distance and also pick up a double kill in the process. Barratel's going to get one more. Galaxy Savage going to get one as well. He's going to ult on to AD carry, not quite get the elimination. Now he will under tower. Baratel in a 2v1. Can he land a stun? He will, but not until Galaxy Savage gets to the bush to drop tower aggro. But Dean has come back into the fight, and he's going to be able to pick up one and a shutdown.
Yeah, Kane can be so hard to deal with when he picks up that Ross. They are going to find out, unfortunately, pick up Goblin there for a double kill onto the side of Boise State Orange. Not quite a team wipe. Unfortunately, the death timer's not long enough to allow that quite yet, but Ross really, once he gets rolling, has a lot of lifesteal. If you don't have any tools to negate that on your team, which Orange currently does not, he's going to survive for such a long period of time.
Baratel going to get engaged on. Wall of Ghouls going to miss. Dean and Baratel and Prominence Blade all going to jump right on top of Wooj, and he's going to flash to safety with just a sliver of health remaining. Maiden has come out, but she will just do what she can. She gets eliminated as well, and now you see the Orange team back at full strength. A real back and forth, 26-22. We're already 12 minutes in, and no team has taken down a tower. Greatest snowball ever. Not going to land, and Prominence Blade you can see looking for a pick.
You know, I find it really funny that both teams have champions who like to engage using these slowly building snowball-style tactics. We do see an engage.
Dean going to try and ult in onto somebody, trying to find out Red Hot, but Red Hot just barely able to survive under his own tower. And now here comes the engage. Double kill for Galaxy Savage. Baratel unfortunately going to be fodder as well. Can they finish it off as Goblin gets one? Nice flash away by Prominence Blade, but Galaxy Savage with a ton of health and minions coming in might consider a tower dive here. Yep, there he goes through the wall, trying to find a target. Gets the knock up onto AD carry. He'll dash out. Prominence Blade trying to land a pick. He will not get anything. First turret also going to go over to Boise State Blue, and AD carry's got to be very careful. His team has not respawned yet, and he is incredibly low.
Yeah, Boise State Blue definitely with the tempo advantage right now. Actually going to take 2 towers, so that's an exposed inhibitor. That's going to be huge for the side of Boise State Blue. Orange does not have a tower to hide or rally behind. They need to make some decisive action.
Dean trying to go in, able to pick up Red Hot, but it does look like he's going to have to trade that one off for his life. So both teams sitting at 4 aside. Equal death timers, but Dean's not going to have as long a way to go. You can see the damage that Ascent just took from it. Looks like the AD attack speed Ivor. So appreciate some of the builds coming out here. Nice 1-for-1 trade there. Shutdown going to go on to Prominence Blade. Ascent trying to answer back, but Daisy is going to prove be a thorn in the side of the Boise State Orange team. Woojin right now just deciding, hey, I'm going to split push. He gets the inhibitor, and now Boise State Orange has got to be careful because they're going to have super minions pushing right in their face.
The ability to summon these additional minions through 2 different ultimates is really handy for the side of Boise State Blue. It gives them additional bodies to take hits from Orange. Not going to be enough to save Woojin, unfortunately, as Dean does pick up that elimination now. We do have the ultimate here onto the back line. Double kill now.
Galaxy Savage is going to try and get onto Ascent. He is going to ult just onto Baratel, get some of the healing from the Red Kane form. Flash for the kill, but is going to be taken down, so he's not going to have that flash for a little bit. Really doesn't matter. Kane can go wherever he wants on this map, and this should mean first turret finally for the Boise State Orange side.
Yeah, we do see that they have the pressure advantage here. There are still 2 members who could try to engage, but thankfully they have enough damage. Are going to take their first turret of the game. That's going to be some nice gold for the side of their team. Not going to be able to take it back, not be able to use that gold advantage, however, until they go back. Do deny an engage from the Nunu here. Not able to follow up on it, though, as he does get safely under his tower.
Yeah, Boise State Orange got to be careful depending on how far they can keep pushed down. One lost team fight could be an ended game from the blue side as they already have the super minions pushing. Greatest snowball ever going to land onto Baratel. Get the knock up here. I don't know if that Udu is able to get away. You can see the team is divided. Red Orange side trying to be very careful. Dean is going to get one. Woojin's going to get one as well. So the team's still even at 4 aside, but Orange falling more and more back, and the health bar is definitely favoring the blue side. Red Hot sees his opportunity. He's going to try and go in. Baratel tried to flash to disrupt it, and I think he's going to have to pay for his life with that one. Yes, he will go down. Now a lack of tank for Boise State Orange. Super minions pushing. Colin going to come out to try and limit some of the damage. The ghouls nearly take down Ascent by themselves. Red Hot smells blood in the water. He's able to pick up one. You can see the Ignite went out, but a nice shield from Goblin going to keep him alive.
Yeah, great shield there. Just there at the last moment. Is going to go down, however, to the Aurelian Soul. Just need to get in range. Just barely hanging on with a little bit of health. Actually goes down to the mist from Yorick here. As we see an attempt on the backside is going to knock him up, lock him down. There's the elimination for Galaxy Savage.
We are going to see Prominence Blade off screen, able to pick one up onto Woojin. First Nexus turret dropping to about 25%, but with Baratel respawning the Phoenix form as well, he should be able to fend it off. Nice ult by Prominence Blade to avoid a knockup. Unfortunately, he's going to walk right into a stun from Goblin, and Daisy's there to be able to get the elimination. Daisy now tanking both of the turrets, and you can now see Blue Squad while waiting in that nice convenient brush placed down by Goblin. I have a feeling Orange team probably knows they're there. Absolute Zero being channeled. That's going to get him 5 gold.
Yeah, that one little minion is going to unfortunately give it away. Even though you can't see the effects of the Absolute Zero while Nunu is standing in a bush, you can see the slow effect on anything that is in that area and going to be hit, which is how we saw, for example, earlier, Lucian able to dodge out of the way.
See Scarface going to get engaged on. He will be the first one to be taken down. Dean trying to land something on the Goblin. Ascent's going to be able to pick up the kill as well. And now Boise State Orange maybe seeing their advantage. They take the health pack away as well. AD carry comes charging in. Unfortunately, that dragon might be a little far away. Has to flash over the wall of Ghouls. Baratel trying to tank down Red Hots there. Nice use of the stun. Unfortunately, under the tower, not able to get anything. Galaxy Savage in on the back line. Going to be able to get Ascent. Dean, on the other hand, is on his own back line. He's going to be able to pick up Red Hot. Baratel basically playing stun tank right now with Galaxy Savage. He's able to save AD carry. Dean probably going to go down. No, he lives to the turret. Doesn't matter. Couldn't get through the tunnel in time. Woojin able to get that shut down right back.
Yeah, really close. So they do manage to pick up one more elimination for Galaxy Savage as the fight re-engages.
Fight does re-engage. Double kill for Galaxy Savage. Woojin able to pick up one as well. And now Boise State Orange has got to be extremely careful. That is a team kill for the side of Boise State Blue. And they might be able to win the game off this. You can see Ascent's the only one going to be alive for the next 10 seconds as Super Minions and the Maiden start pushing down.
Yeah, with all those extra minute advantage. However, the inhibitor does respawn, so that's one more thing that Orange is going to have going for them, just to keep the opposition off of their towers. But the towers have already taken quite a fair bit of damage, and all 5 members of Boise State here are against 2 members of Orange.
Galaxy Savage trying to stop Dean. He's going to be eliminated thanks to the turret, but the turret is going to have to give up his life as well. Absolute Zero is going to come out and do a bit of chip damage, but not going to get any eliminations. Ascent's going to pick up one. Red Hot is going to answer right back. Galaxy Savage, he's going to get one, but he's going to pay for it as he dived all the way on to the fountain. It looks like blue team just sort of wrapping up the pieces. It is an exposed Nexus. You can see Baratel and Dean are extremely low. Prominence play going to try and ult to safety. Woojin nearly gets the kill. They're going to try and bait as many minions into the laser as possible. Woojin going to still pick up a kill and then go down, but Red Hots and Goblin just attacking down the Nexus, and Blue Squad going to even things up here at one aside, potentially. They're going to get Baratel first. They want to pass the stats. Now with the 8th, they'll wrap everything up and we'll go to a game number 3.
Good attempt there right at the end to try and draw the aggro away from the turret, but unfortunately, Baratel just not tanky enough to draw away the turret aggression of the champions.
So we are going to head to our final game of the ARAM portion of tonight. Don't want to go anywhere, as we will have the Mountain West League of Legends tournament coming up. Boise State taking on UNLV. You can see the players there, Red Hot, Dean, and Ascent after their nice win in the ARAM game. At least some of them, they are sort of divided up. I believe Red Hot's the only one on the winning squad that time, getting ready for a third warm-up game, and then into tonight's real action. Fish and Glovely calling all of it. So we had ARAM went over to Orange, the Nemesis game where each team picked champions for the other squad going over to Blue, and now we're going to go back to just normal ARAM for game number 3, the tie-breaking game. So a lot riding on what the game wants to give each player.
Yeah, we're definitely seeing, even though we have different champions coming out in every single matchup, we've only seen one champion come out twice, the Evelyn, in both games.
Yeah.
So obviously ARAM, you can't really choose what champions you get, but we've seen very similar styles of champions coming out from either side. We had multiple assassins coming out from Blue in the previous game. Orange definitely favors those tanky champions that they can use as their front line to wall them off, and when they lose those, they tend to lose their fights.
Yeah, we do have Boise State Blue versus Boise State Orange, ARAM game to kick things off. And the one thing is with ARAM, assuming that is the normal rules where you're able to trade, that does increase the chances that somebody's going to find a champion that they are comfortable on as we kick off game number 3 here. Right away, we see Red Hot on the Yone nearly being eliminated, has to get away to safety, and Boise State Orange with a great start to game number 3.
Yeah, looking right now at the champions on either side, there's a lot of late-game scaling potential on both sides of the team. Ryze compared to Veigar, we have Vayne compared to Kayle, but I do favor the late game of Blue if they can manage to keep themselves alive long enough. They don't have much of a front line.
See Woojin going to engage in there on the Rek'Sai champion that was in the last game. First Blood is going to go over to the orange side, but immediately Prominence Blade is going to have to go down, so the teams will trade 1 for 1. Baratel going to pick up another one on the Katarina, a very interesting champion in ARAM. Tries to dive for the kill. He's going to go down. Blue and Orange both tied at 2 aside.
Yeah, Orange I favor overall just because they have that front line. Both Vladimir and Sejuani bring you a lot of durability and survivability, which is very valuable in being able to dictate when and where the fight happens.
Like that, Prominence Blade on the Vladimir, going to dive in, not quite able to get elimination. Turret's going to make him pay on the way out, and now Ascent on the rise. Going to be taken down, and Orange going to have to disengage, and you can see Blue really being able to tank all of these engages from Orange and stay relatively healthy. Galaxy Savage a bit low, but no one else too weak for the wear.
Yeah, overall, and looking at the team champions, despite this being ARAM, as I said, we do see a lot of very similar things that we saw in the previous game. You've got the front line for Boise State Orange, and as soon as that's down, their back line is very exposed to Blue's preferred assassins.
Courtesy Goblin on the Veigar, which is actually a champion he's played quite a lot, so I would maybe favor the blue team here just because there is a little bit of champion familiarity, at least on that. I'm sure all of these players have played these champions in the past, but that's something Goblin has brought out in competitive games from time to time. Red Hot going to use the E, going to try and jump in onto everybody, able to get right back out to safety. Prominently going to get engaged on. Nice use of the pool to get away. In a sense, able to pick one right back, and it's going to be 3 aside. Good job by Orange answering right back.
Yeah, looking at these teams and the stuff that they're building in the builds, one thing I think is really important to note is the Summoner spells and the Keystones are very different from what you would find on Summoner's Rift. For example, on Summoner's Rift, you'd usually expect a Veigar to go something like either Arcane Comet for additional damage, or maybe, Barn, we do have a fight happening.
Yeah, Dean was trying to get that pick on to Red Hots. Unfortunately, not going to work out. Goblin going to pick up his second one. Finally, Red Hots goes down, but at what cost? As a third member of the orange team is going to lose their life. Galaxy Savage now the target as Baratel goes down. Ascent is able to pick up just one more, and he should be able to get away now. We do see Scarface extremely low on the Kale. Woojin going to come in on the Rex side, and Boise State Orange potentially being baited by some low health bars as Ascent able to pick up another one. Can he get one more? The rest of his team is coming, going to use the ultimate there to allow AD Carry to teleport in on the Vayne. Probably not a champion you want in on the backline. Red Hot's going to ult though, has his eyes on Ascent. He is going to get caught out, should be able to retreat, but no, not able to get back fast enough as Baratel's able to pick up that one.
Yeah. I was trying to talk about the Glacial Augment and brings crowd control to your team, which is one of the big strong points that a Veigar brings to your competition. Great dive by Baratel, is able to pick up the elimination at the cost of his life. Dean, unfortunately, trapped under the turret, is going to trade 1-for-1.
The Orange team doing a really good job right now of at least picking up 1-for-1s. They have been a little bit overzealous time to time going after some of these health bars. Ascent going to get caught in the cage. Red Hot's going to dive in on him, dropping incredibly low. Shutdown going to go over to Galaxy Savage.
That cage is such a powerful tool, regardless of what game mode you're in, because of the ability to capture opponents inside of it, to prevent them from being able to disengage, to charge in on top of you, locking them down. We do see some damage coming back and forth, though, and Galaxy Savage is now on a killing spree.
Yeah, and we see Prominence Blade going to go down as well. Baratel did pick up one, so he was at least able to get something back for the Orange team. Red Hot just doing a great job on that Yoni. This time able to get out, but Dean's going to follow him, saying not today. And now Dean has access to some low backline members. Galaxy Savage incredibly low. Yomu's not going to matter. Dean going to pay for it, but this is one. He gets two. Ascent gets one more, and now Woojin has to get it out. That Shark's going to dive underwater and get away.
Yeah, overall, better trade for Boise State Orange. They do have the Rise now, starting to get his items to stack. We do see he has completed the Arcane Scepter, already has another Mana Crystal, potentially into Rod of Ages. It gives him a lot of sustain in these games. On the other side, though, Boise State Blue, Veigar has just finished his Tech Stack, GLP, used it in the previous fight, but he's not getting the bonus of the Glacial Augment on top of that.
Red Hot's going to go in, try and take down Baratel, who will live with just a sliver of HP. We'll see if the blue team wants to fully engage. The one thing you'd have to say is blue doesn't have a great tank situation. We only have Dean on the Sejuani. Cage going to come out, Prominence Blade. Should be able to avoid most of that knockup onto Dean, but right now neither team really looking for a full fight. I'm guessing Galaxy Savage wants to find a way to ult in onto Baratel on the backline.
Yeah, we do see the attempted engage. Red Hot's making great use of Yone's ability to jump in and out of these fights here. Not able to pick up the eliminations. We do see a dive back on there. Ascent is going to pick up Woojin here during the course of the fight here. Ultimate comes out from Kale, going to keep her alive.
AD Carry flashes in, tries to get the elimination. Heal going to be used as well. Cage will go down. We'll see if Orange is able to pick up their first turret. You can see Ascent trying to get one more. He's going to get turret aggro. Now he's got to be careful. Galaxy Savage going to ult in an easy shutdown over to that Zed, who's looking pretty scary at 6-2 and 7.
Definitely scary. And a number of Boise State Orange's members are very vulnerable to that Zed. Katarina, Vayne, not able to protect themselves very easily. Rise as well. So he could be, in fact, a big factor for Boise State Blue as the game carries on, being able to set up that death mark and eliminate key members.
Uji's going to be the one to engage on the Dean. He's going to be caught in the cage, and that's going to spell his demise as Goblin picks up that one. You can see Galaxy Savage pretty low, just sort of waiting in the back line. Nice ult there by Red Hot. Going to be taken away. A double kill over to Goblin, but Blue's going to like the result regardless. That's a triple kill onto the Veigar, and that's probably the last thing Orange wanted to see is Veigar getting more and more kills. Galaxy Savage trying to find AD Carry, not going to land it. Ascent's going to use the teleport. He sees Red Hot. Is he able to pick up the elimination? Yes, he is. AD Carry's going to go down. Ascent gets a double kill for himself before Galaxy Savage barely able to survive. That was a near great turnaround by Ascent. He had almost a quadra kill. You can see how low the health bars are. Shut down thanks to the turret, going to go down. And Woojin, he's just waiting and nobody knows where he is. You always got to check that brush. Unfortunately for him, there's really not a low health member for him to dive on top of, so he's just going to trade his life away.
Yeah, unfortunate situation there, hiding in that bush. I am surprised that he got in there without the members of Boise State Orange paying attention to where he was, or maybe they just knew it and they decided that he wasn't a threat. Wasn't something that they had to worry about, and they could just deal with him on their own time. Meanwhile, big dive onto the turret. Deathmark being used defensively to try and keep him alive as Dean not able to pick up the elimination there.
Yeah, great job there by Galaxy Savage. Dean is going to go down. Baratel's going to be taken down mainly by the turret, but for Boise State Orange, you can say at least they are able to get first turret, so they're going to even up the gold. Ascent's going to get one, and once again, there's low health numbers. He flashes in for a second one. Cage going to come down. Woojin going to engage. Prominence Blade trying to jump in on the back line. AD Carry going to get one. Woojin now trying to disengage. Nice heal and a flash coming out from Prominence Blade. He's going to be able to get that one, and a nice double kill for the Vladimir. Boise State Orange, just like that. A nice little ace.
Yeah, we're starting to get to the point where this is a 9-4-7 rise. He has both of his big mana items finished. He's getting to be absolutely scary, and he's accelerating towards that late game power spike status that he has as the champion on Summoner's Rift, but so much faster because of the acceleration on these items.
See Scarface nearly being taken down. Ultimate from Red Hot's going to be used. AD Carry just barely able to survive. Glacial Precision did not quite land, so Yone is able to get out. Cage going to come out, but there's not going to be much follow-up. Dean, let's see how tanky that Sejuani is. Nice ult there from Scarface to keep him alive. That's going to be enough to take down Prominence Blade. Red Hot's going to fall. Galaxy Savage on the backline trying to take down Ascent. He's able to pick it up, but two members going to be traded off in the process. Woojin now incredibly low. Looks like he's going to go down as well, so this time it's Orange baiting in the side of blue with a couple low health bars, and they're able to pick up 4 kills. Goblin's going to make it a 4-for-4. Baratel's going to ult. Can he finish it off? Flashes on the cage. Yes, he can. Baratel able to get the team kill and should be able to get the super minions here.
No fear from the man who won the Bombbots Arena Rally. Not able to, however, pick up that last inhibitor, so they are going to still have that up available for them. No super minions for the side of Boise State Orange, but they did leave it exposed and at half health, so it'll be an easy pickup the next time that they manage to get over there. And all it'll take is 1-1 team fight.
Orange maybe sitting 1-2-1 team fights away from finishing off this game and claiming the series. Blue has yet to even get a first turret as they're going to try and engage onto Dean. You can just see how tanky he is on that Sejuani. Red Hot's going to fully commit there with the ultimate and all, and he is going to be taken down. 3 kills now picked up from Boise State Blue. Let's make it 4, and now it's all on Goblin. The little Vigar throws down the cage, gives away his position, can't quite take down AD Carry. There's the full teleport committed by the team. Goblin just gets annihilated. Another team kill for Orange. This time it should be a super minions. Let's see if they're able to get one of the next turrets.
Yeah, they do have 2 very low health bars on their team, including their tanks. They're going to have to be very careful about how they play this. Zed is alive, so he does have the ability to assassinate one of them. Red Hot's also trying to close in onto a target. Is not going to, yes, is going to pick up Dean. Manages to get out. Ascent, unfortunately, too powerful to be able to bring him down. Is going to go down to the death mark, though.
Okay, you can see right now only not even 11 minutes into the game. The respawn timer is just a bit short for Boise State Orange to finish off the game. Now we get into right back with an ace on the side of Boise State Blue. Unfortunately for them, they have super minions to contend with and the first turret still to deal with. And you can see the members of Boise State Orange starting to trickle in with AD Carry, the first one.
Yeah, and the problem is that they're losing these fights here underneath the opposing turret, and then they're having to back off and they lose something. They are able to pick up a turret of their own, so they are going to get some of that global gold for their team, thankfully. Not able to lock anybody down with the baby cage, so that's going to be a cooldown that you'll have to pay attention to. Good use of that baby cage can win or lose a fight. Ultimate does come out from Dean, not able to lock anyone up in it. Shut down, however, for Ascent.
Yeah, the Woojin on the Rex side trying to dive into the back line. Yone going to go down despite the ult still going off. Triple kill onto his Ascent. Prominence Blade going to add one more, and this should be a clean ace for Boise State Orange. It is, and now we'll see how far they're able to push down. You can see the respawn timers there. Everybody's still in the teens except for Woojin, but he was the first one to die, so we'll see if he's able to make any of a play. Unfortunately for Boise State Orange, they have just one super minion who is slowly but surely deciding to join the fight. Finally gets in range. They get one turret. Woojin in there is going to try and dive in with the Edge of Night. He goes down, isn't able to pick up a kill. Now the members are starting to spawn back in as everyone else is back alive. It is going to be a 4v5. Immediately Dean goes down though as Red Hot is able to hop right back out. We'll see if Boise State Orange wants to focus on getting the turret. Looks like for now they do not. But the super minion is going to assist them, so that is an exposed nexus now for the blue side. If they're trying to run down the members of Boise State Orange, Red Hot is there. He's going to be taken down. Baratel waiting in the bush. I think he's going for the sneaky back door. No, he's not. He's just going to eliminate Galaxy Savage. Goblin can't quite get the ultimate kill onto AD Carry. Baratel's going to ult there. Nice ult by Scarface to at least stay alive, but he's the last remaining member, and Boise State Orange has their eyes on finishing this game very, very soon. Woojin is back, so it will be a 3-on-2. You can see Dean slowly running down. Ascent's back as well. Does have the ultimate. Edge of Night going to be broken there by Woojin. Not going to be able to be knocked into the wall, but AD Carry Carry still doing a great job kiting until the ultimate comes out. Prominence Blade and Baritelle still able to pick up the elimination, but with Red Hot's back, I don't think they'll be able to finish off the game.
Even when Boise State Orange is winning these team fights, they're coming out of them with very high health bars. So many ultimates there avoided thanks to the Vladimir pull. They are able to get the shutdown and the elimination in the end. Looks like a deep dive, though, from Dean is going to pick up one more elimination onto Red Hot's. Ascent is here, uses the Ghost, isn't able to close in, gets caught in the baby cage. 3 members around him. He is going to go down. That's a big pickup there, as now only the tank on the side of Boise State Orange is in range to do anything about this fight.
Okay, you see Dean trying to get away. Vigar Cage going to come down. He's going to flash on the Galaxy Savage to try and pick up a kill. It's not going to result in anything. Scarface able to pick up that one, and now Boise State Blue starting to push down. You can see 80 Carry and Prominence Blade have respawned. Baritelle going to join back as well. And I would love to see some sort of cheeky Rise Alt back door come out from Boise State Orange, since it is an exposed Nexus, at least for now. The inhibitor probably spawning very shortly, so I don't know if they'll want to fully risk that, but that would be how any ARAM game should end. Would be a crazy back door, because you're not able to back and just watch blue team slowly watch their Nexus fade and blow up.
The problem with using the Realm Warp like that is that you are essentially sending a vulnerable member to the other side. They are caught up in an ultimate, though. Great ultimate from Red Hot's, catching out 2 members.
And now 80 Carry going to get jumped on there by the Death Mark. He should be able to get away, but Woojin wants to follow things up. He's going to get another kill, and now it's just Ascent and Dean left. They're able to get one. Dean's going to be able to get another one, but Woojin going down, or Woojin taking down Ascent means Dean, the last man standing, unfortunately not going to be able to get the kill. A quadra kill onto Woojin on the rec side, and that should mean at least an inhibitor turret for Boise State Blue as the ace comes out.
The biggest advantage to Boise State Blue is the fact that they have Kale, as she's this champion who becomes incredibly powerful, has now unlocked her ultimate form. Yes, this is in fact her final form. Level 16 is constantly ascended, going to be dealing damage constantly in waves, so much of it. Great for destroying towers as well. Uses the invulnerability to try and keep Frontline alive, however. Prominence Blade, yeah, as you can see, doing what he can. A very durable and tanky champion, but is still going to get eliminated. Realm Warp used just to get the Sejuani ready. There is a shutdown going onto the Vayne, and Orange doing a great job pushing back against it, but unless they can get to this Kale, they're not going to have a really hard time winning these team fights.
Major Prison is going to land on a Galaxy Savage. He's going to Death Mark to safety, just barely alive, as now Red Hot's is going to engage. 80 Carry able to pick up one. Red Hot's right in his face as he comes back, but that's a double kill for the Vayne. 80 Carry barely able to survive, tumbles out of the way of the Hextech GOP from Goblin, and should be able to stay alive. Inhibitor has respawned, but right now it looks like Orange more interested in a couple of kills. Able to pick one on up to Goblin. Galaxy Savage just barely able to survive. Woojin back in the fight. He could probably one-shot 80 Carry with the ultimate. Able to get a kill. Nice snowball dodge. Zed's going to go in and pick up one. Dean trying to get what he can with the low health members. He's not going to be able to do it, but in the process, Orange has picked up the inhibitor. But you think the problem for Orange is they just kind of keep funneling in. It's a 2v5, 3v5, 2v5. It's never a full team fight for Orange with this slight kill lead.
Hextech Gunblade there used just a little down just to pick up the elimination. Red Hot misses with the ultimate, unfortunately not able to do anything there. They do have Kale on the front lines, no protection against an assassin and a very fed Vladimir, but she does feel very confident about that damage. Elimination for Scarface there, even in a 2 versus 1 situation, because Boise State Orange is really scared. They have to respect this Kale there, as we do see the speed up and the Mark dash there, trying to get Red Hot into position to pick up the elimination. Not quite able to finish the job, is rendered invulnerable though. Scarface down in dangerous position, able to back out of the baby cage.
Yeah, we'll have to see if Boise State Orange can now punish Scarface for not having the ultimate online. Dean going to throw some damage, and you can see Woojin just waiting in that bush. Red Hot going to use the E to try and cover some ground. Doesn't look like he's going to get anywhere. Glacial Prison is going to land onto Scarface. He has no ultimate, he's forced to flash away. Ultimate from Red Hot's going to be used just onto Dean. Woojin, meanwhile, on the back line, immediately going to go down. Cage going to miss from Vigar. Red Hot trying to finish off Woojin, or Dean, excuse me, but he's not going to be able to do enough damage. And Boise State Orange just barely holding on. It is a 4v5, but you can see all 4 members of Boise State Blue relatively high health bars.
Yeah, and that has been the story of these games. Whenever Orange does win a team fight, it's usually with relatively high health, but Boise State Blue usually just kind of bleeding out health bars. Now the situation has sort of been turned on its head. Boise State Blue with the health advantage. Red Hots goes in hard, does end up getting eliminated in the long run, but there is no stopping this. Kale, look at that one. Oh, it looks like, in fact, there is stopping. I said, also a very powerful late game champion. Great dodging there from Galaxy Savage. Not good enough to get him out, though, and that is going to be Advantage now for Boise State Orange as they can attempt to shove down this lane, but there is a Rek'Sai waiting for them.
This might be the opportunity where you could potentially use the Ascent ultimate to get onto the exposed Nexus. Doesn't seem like they want to be able to do that, and Wujin's going to try and make sure there's no push coming out. He's going to go onto Prominence Blade. He's going to pull to safety. Ult's going to be used onto Ascent, and Wujin's going to be forced to retreat away. There comes the ultimate now out from Ascent. He was trying to finish off the kill. Ace going to go over to Boise State Blue, but for a brief moment of time, as Red Hot has now just respawned. He's barely going to survive. We'll see what Boise State Orange wants to do. They're going to get one elimination onto Red Hot. Scarface is there. Veritel's got to be careful. Prominence Blade as well, going to pull through the cage, trying to do as much damage as he can. He is going to get eliminated. Veritel now gets baited in by the shield from Scarface, and that's another kill. You really got to think if Orange had just focused down the Nexus, they might have been able to finish that game off.
Yeah, Blue's going to have to be very careful, especially there with the ultimate coming up from Sejuani here. Are they going to try and catch up? Goblin does stay alive for quite a fair amount of time, though, before he goes down.
And they're going to trade 1 for 1. Dean now going to just try and escape. Doesn't have a ton of damage on that Sejuani. Scarface and Galaxy Savage running him down. Wujin in on the backline and gaining ground. There is the death mark coming out, and Dean is going to be eliminated. And Boise State Blue with an ace of their own.
Yeah, now they have to see what they can get out of it. What sort of objectives do they take? There is an exposed inhibitor for their side that's going to be available for them, preventing them from getting straight to the Nexus. But more importantly, they're going to have to win this next team fight if they want any chance at winning this game, because otherwise Orange is just going to take everything they've done and shove it right back in their face.
Yeah, Orange and Blue probably both one team fight away from finishing off this game. Veritel's able to pick up Wujin. Does look like the Blue inhibitor is going, or Blue is going to pick up an inhibitor, and Boise State Blue and Orange now both going to have super minions pushing. Still rooting for Ascent to just get the whole team in the ultimate and say, let's go squad, let's finish this game off, because we have places to be. But for now, both sides looking into a more team deathmatchy style. You can see Death Bush there being started by Boise State Blue. They're going to full engage. They're going to get Prominence Blade immediately. Ult's going to come onto Ascent. He's barely alive. He's going to be taken down by Scarface, who picks up his second one. And now you can see Boise State Orange might be in a ton of trouble trying to disengage. 80 carry, not going to be able to finish off Scarface. Galaxy Savage dropped extremely low. Veritel will pick up the kill, but Red Hot should be able to hunt him down and finish things off. Barely actually surviving. Dean now the last one alive, and Boise State Blue full health. They just got to wait for the minions, and they could be winning this game and finishing off this series.
Blue has all the time in the world they need. Kale is at level 18 now. Yes, is at level 18. Absolute terror of a champion here. They pick up the ace. They have the attack speed they need. Just go ham on the tower, guys. Take out the Nexus. There is Prominence Blade up alive. Ascent has just come up. He is a terror for the side of Orange. Could he turn things around? Red Hot picks up the elimination for his team. Ascent now is caught out underneath the tower, not able to survive. It looks like the win is ultimately going to go over to the side of Boise State Blue.
Boise State Blue coming back from the near defeat a couple of times. I really do think there was at least one opportunity for Boise State Orange to focus down the Nexus and win that game, but that was not the case. Boise State Blue going to pick up their win, game number 3. So a 2-1 victory for Boise State Blue in our in-house ARAM's going to wrap off our warm-up game of the night. Boise State Esports is always looking for talented players, production, and broadcast talent. Top talent, along with good grades and eligibility, can earn scholarships as well. Sign up today by visiting boisestate.edu/esports for more information. It's awesome. It's a ton of fun being here. I love seeing all the new players who we've seen, as this is the fall semester, so you get that incoming class in games like Rocket League and Overwatch, and even a couple of the Boise State League of Legends members on the Orange team. So it's always fun to see new faces. It's a ton of fun to be able to interact with these players. I just wish this is something that was around when I was in school, but I was just a few years too early, Glovely, as we wrap up our ARAM.
Yeah, I was getting into college myself when I first found about League of Legends. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to get in on that scene either, but like there's so much cool stuff going on here as we're preparing for another game tonight, but this time we're going to be on Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, this one's going to be a little bit more than in-house. It is the Mountain West Fall League of Legends tournament. Boise State taking on UNLV, two teams that were runners-up in their division in the spring semester, dropping to Colorado State and Nevada, respectively. Nevada winning it all in the spring during the Mountain West tournament. As you see there, Broncos versus UNLV. All 9 schools in the Mountain West that have a League of Legends program will be competing tonight. We'll get a look at the bracket and things coming up very shortly. We are also going to have a special guest joining us as well. Looks like we might be taking potentially a quick break here to get everything set up, but we'll be right back into the action. Boise State UNLV coming up right after this.
Growing up in Riggins, we have certain rules we live by. Look both ways before crossing the street. Fishing stories get better the more you tell them. Small town life makes your life anything but small. Never work alone when you go hunting. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Bravo 6 to Griggs. Step on the move. Copy. Say the word, Captain.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
5 million people have fled Syria since 2011, of which more than 1 million have poured into Lebanon. No country in the world hosts more refugees per capita. Because of the influx of refugees into Lebanon, the educational system is stretched beyond its reach. And what is to become of the kids who get left out? What happens to this lost generation?
أنه على المدرسة كتير اشتقت إنه أروح على المدرسة لأنه كانوا هنيك رفقاتي اللبنانية كانوا يروحوا على المدرسة وأنا لا فحس إنه في شي غلط.
اسمي روعة. لما كنا بسوريا
احنا من تركنا الضيعة كان نقصف عليها من المسلحين ومن النظام يقصفوا بعضهم واحنا كنا خط نار بين اثنين.
There are thousands of stories like Mara and Rawa's. With the help of HP, Google.org, and UNICEF, the Clooney Foundation for Justice is funding 8 schools, serving 3,000 students who won't have to fall through the cracks. Because of this unique partnership, public school classrooms that had almost no technology are now being equipped with the very best. HP is providing teacher training, curriculum planning support, and for the first time, laptops to be used daily in every classroom as part of HP's commitment to improve learning for 100 million students by 2025.
لما جيت على المدرسة شفت كمبيوتر اتفاجأت حسيته شي صعب بعدين طلع شي سهل كتير.
This is technology that will be used by both refugee and Lebanese students alike and will help ensure that children, regardless of circumstance, have a real chance in life.
هيك أنا عم بجي على المدرسة مشان أتعلم مشان بس بكبر بصير معلم.
كتير بحس بهذا الشعور إنه المرح والفرح كتير بحس لما أجي على المدرسة. أنا بس أكبر بحب إنه يصير حكيم. بنصحهم إنه يكملوا تعليمهم ويحققوا أحلامهم. يعني أنا شايفة قدام إنه في كتير مستقبل حلو.
Education is a fundamental human right. The hopes and dreams of our next generation needs all of us to guarantee that right.
Welcome back into the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena. We're back here for the Mountain West Fall League of Legends Tournament. Boise State taking on UNLV, the 2 runner-ups from the most recent conference championship. Boise State losing in the Mountain semifinal to Colorado State. UNLV dropping in the West semifinal to Nevada. So these are 2 teams that are in the upper echelon of the Mountain West. They're going to kick things off here in the second round of the Mountain West League of Legends Tournament. We take a look at the players there in the arena, getting ready to go. Production getting everything ready to go as well. These teams have met 4 times previously. The Broncos with a 3-1 record against UNLV, but the Runnin' Rebels won the game that mattered. Back in April of 2018, the Runnin' Rebels were the winners of the conference championship, beating Boise State. So, despite winning the 3-1 series advantage, Boise State probably wishes it could be 4-0 or at least even 1-3 because they would definitely take that conference title. I am Michael Fish Fisher. Joining me to call all of the action, as you see there, the Rebels hosting the trophy, their only victory ever over Boise State, and that was probably the one that Boise State would love to have the most. We're going to be joined by Jared Baratel Castiglione to call all of the action tonight. Baratel, how are you doing? And you saw right there, even 2 years ago, that still hurts to watch.
I actually felt a lot of pain watching that because I was watching it live. I just watched it again, and a little piece of my heart, however big it may be, just broke off. So thank you, production. When it comes down to it, the players, I think, feel this more than anything.
Take a look here at the Fall Invitational for the Mountain West. This set of rules, it is 5v5, Summoner's Rift, best of 3, double elimination, but we're kicking things off tonight with the first round, the upper bracket. Final's going to be on October 24th, and here we take a look at the bracket. UNLV beating Air Force in the play-in game, if you will. UNLV listed as the 9 seed there. You can see on the other graphic, Boise State probably not going to be familiar agreeing with that one. The UNLV's with a D3 average, so definitely probably one of the upper echelon teams. The Broncos getting the number 1 seed, so that is pretty awesome for them. You can see Nevada, the reigning conference champions, picking up a 2-0 win over Wyoming already. So Boise State trying to advance, trying to avoid the losers bracket and having to not be able to drop another game, and winning against UNLV would be very, very huge for them, who, like we said, they were seeded number 9, but this is a very, very talented team. I was actually talking with Doc earlier, and he said that he thinks this is probably the 3rd or 4th most talented team in the Mountain West. So maybe a little bit of seeding disadvantage for Boise State, but you're the 1 seed. You've got to hold serve. There's the Echo Band, the jungler for UNLV, loves that champion, 300 games played.
And we were talking about this before we got into the game, before we even started the broadcast, that we're most likely going to see this Echo Band because he has had some pretty monstrous performances on this champion, and by far the most played. Equal to that, though, of course, a lot of respect coming out from UNLV, banning the Rumble away from his hand.
Nunu going to be banned away there by Boise State. That is an interesting one, to say the least. Nothing really sticking out, I guess, trying to target down the jungler for UNLV. I know there's a Lulu that we also talked about. Potentially, Baratel feels maybe bad to ban that one away. We've seen Dean play it really well, but that is something that you could say is the other one trick, is the support snakes for UNLV. Now we're going to get into the E-Thug targeted portion of the bans. Gray's going to be the first one taken away. There's the Lulu, and this would not shock me if it's a Twitcher in Italy. It's actually Samira. That's an interesting one from UNLV.
I know a hot take on a lot of these, especially these players, specifically these high echelon players that you had mentioned. They don't really think that Samira's that strong, but obviously UNLV might have something figured out and they don't even want to attempt it. Boise State going to pick up Lilia first. That is an incredibly strong pick, actually, and one that might be able to flex into the top lane.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see. It's not something we've seen E-Thug on, I think, more than just one time. He played it pretty well, but it doesn't really mesh with his aggressive style that we've seen on things like the Hecarim or the Zac. So I would be curious, as you mentioned, you can flex that. I want to see how UNLV responds, what lane they want to go with first, because Boise State doing a great job sort of masking that first pick.
It is good, too. I think Boise State realizing that the jungle has been targeted. 2 of their bans also targeting junglers. They don't want to let E-Thug suffer this consequence of having what you could say an arguably small jungle pool. But then again, we've seen him dominate on Zac, Sejuani, Nidalee, Braves band, of course, but he can play anything. Ornn and Hecarim being picked up from the side of UNLV. This means immediately that they want to fight.
Yeah, they're going to take that Hecarim away from potentially E-Thug, who's played it really well. And then Ornn, I mean, if you've been paying attention to World, this is just one of the most insane top laners. The damage is insane. The bonus items are insane. Oh, and oh, by the way, he's extremely tanky. Boise going to answer back with one of the stronger AD carries, Ashe, stepping up there a little bit with the nerf. Surprised they didn't want to bring out the Twitch, but they might. Twitch recently getting buffed could mean something for E-Thug there. And then the Nautilus last pick, probably going to go in the support role for Dean.
Most likely the support role. Nautilus mid is still a force to be reckoned with, but I really doubt that they would put Ascent on a champion that has, I guess, that much telegraphed engage. Dean being able to find those kind of picks, we've seen him before on these playmaking supports to great extent, carrying his team, and Nautilus is definitely a champion to do so with.
Last pick coming in here for UNLV. It's going to be the Morgana being picked up there in the bot lane. So going to have those black shields on any sort of hooks or depth charts that Dean wants to throw out. So we'll see how that throws a wrench in the Broncos' plans as we get into phase 2 of the bans.
This ultimately can still be a flex. I know that most typically we see the Morgana in the bottom lane, but do keep in mind, Tormented Soil has so much damage on hit and gets to reset for free on cannon minions that she's got amazing wave clear in the mid lane. Definitely possible.
Another targeted ban onto Ascent, this time the Azir that he's been playing so spectacularly in the mid lane. Ezreal going to be the answer for Boise State. There's the Lucian, so Ascent now drawing 3 bans, you could argue here, to kick things off in game 1. There's the Caitlyn. Boise State going to try and put the UNLV AD carry on something he's uncomfortable with. Does have some Kai'Sa games played, but she's really not a force in the current meta, so I'd be curious to see if he goes with a comfort champion or not. As we head into phase 2 of the picks, looks like UNLV looking for an AD carry in a mid, Boise State a mid in a top, mid in a jungle, and there's the Zoe. So that's almost a 4th ban against the set. I'd be curious to see what that man's going to play.
A lot of pick potential here on the side of UNLV, but keep in mind, the only other ADC that's left on the table that's relatively meta, if you will, is Senna. And Senna suffers drastically against hook champions. Despite even having the spell shield, we see the Zillion, which can normally only be mid lane, but we see in a top lane for Boise State. This draft is getting wild.
We've also seen some Twitch play at Worlds thanks to those recent pair of buffs. I know for Boise State that's more impactful in the jungle if Ethug wants to pick it up, so that could potentially be an option for UNLV. I know Twitch has made this last push with some of the buffs. There's the Camille. That's going to signal that it is going to be a jungle Lilia for the side of Boise State, and now it comes down to the final pick for UNLV. What AD carry that's left on the table do they want to go with?
All right, Senna, Kai'Sa to some extent can be fine. It's going to be interesting. They don't really have like a death ball comp, so Kog'Maw's out of the question. We'll really have to wait and see.
Kai'Sa is the most played champion for Cleanse, the UNLV bot laner, at 69 games this season. He's going to go with the Jin, so he's going to go with the 4th shot, try and put in a ton of damage. So it's going to be on Dean to try and shut that down, try and body block for Goblin and prevent those 4 shots from doing a ton of damage. We take a look at the teams. And man, UNLV is going to have a ton of pick potential, as you mentioned, with the Hecarim. Orin's going to be just empowering all those items, and that 4th shot could be a difference maker for the side of UNLV. And I want to see how Ethug plays that Lilia. We haven't seen it more than once in a real route for the Broncos. This is going to be a test. I'll be curious if he's maybe been playing it in some solo queue, because we have not seen it in a while. A quick note, Baratel, if you are just joining us, Scarface will be the Boise State jungler. That is Ethug. He's on a different account. That's the account he registered with the tournament. So that is going to still be Ethug, even if the name seems a little bit unfamiliar.
All right, I'm familiar only because he kind of handed me the business in those warm-up games.
Well, now with the draft done, we're going to toss it over to Glovely. He's going to give us his analysis of both teams and what he thinks is going to be the outcome here and how Boise State can pick up the first win of the night against UNLV. Glovely, take it away.
When we're looking at the champions on these teams, one of the emphases that we have to notice is champions who are really strong at dictating the pace of the game. In this case, I think Ashe and Hecarim are the biggest, most important deal that you need to pay attention to, because they're going to be the ones who decide where and when fights happen. And that's why I'm a little concerned that UNLV's running Rebels have the advantage here. Morgana is such a great champion for being able to deny crowd control. So if you put your black shield on a Hecarim, you're guaranteeing that you're going to have a member in the fight on top of multiple members of the opposing team.
And Glovely, what's one champion on each team that you want to focus on? I don't know if it's the carry, if it's you think who has to play the best. What's one player on each side you're putting all the pressure on, saying if Boise State needs X to pop off and UNLV needs X to pop off for that team to win?
If Boise State needs somebody to pop off, they need a champion who's going to be able to stay safe during those fights. I think the Lilia is going to be big for them if they do get engaged on by the Hecarim. If she's able to stay alive long enough to consistently get her damage output off, she's going to be able to punish those engages. She's a great champion for that. We've seen how much damage she can get off if left alone in a team fight, even if she's not necessarily the kind of champion who, looks like she's this huge damage output champion. Think of her sort of like an AP version of the Assassin Hecarim, with less on the speed and a bit more on the range and crowd control.
What about for UNLV? Who are you keeping an eye on if you're a Bronco fan that you do not want to see popping off?
watch that Hecarim. We've seen just how dangerous that champion can be, regardless of whose hands it's in. Boise State has had an excellent track record with this champion. It's dictated the pace of the game with those high-speed engages very easily. Even if the opposition sees you coming, there might not be anything you can do about it just because of the speed at which he engages upon you.
And before we bid you farewell, Glovely, who do you think is going to win and why? Real quick.
I hate to admit it, but I really like the Rebels setup. UNLV has drafted a very powerful team fight composition. They can deny engages with the Morgana, and Hecarim does a much better job of dictating the pace of the game than than the Ashe does. I think that their ability to decide where and when the fights happen is going to give them the advantage. BSU is going to be very reliant on using the Nautilus to deny those backline engages and to try and keep their carries alive.
Glovely, thank you so much. We'll have you back for Game 2 to break down that draft, hopefully after a Bronco victory, but even you admitting UNLV is going to be a tough test. You can see the players there getting all ready to go back in. And Baratel, I have to agree with Glovely. I mean, we haven't seen much of the Lilia, and we've seen what the Hecarim can do for Boise State. That's putting fear in my heart that UNLV might be able to, no pun intended, trot away with this game.
You had asked Glovely specifically what hero, I guess what player needs to pop off the most. We need to remind you two that Red Hots used to be the former mid laner for Boise State, and he's playing a carry top laner now.
That is true. Not something we've seen recently. We've seen a lot of Malphite, a lot of Ornn. But he's got to make sure he punishes that Ornn, because Ornn's one of those champions. The longer he stays alive, the longer he keeps that lane neutral, that's just advantage UNLV once we get to the Ornn item. So it's going to be on Red Hots to dominate early, which it's been a criticism of ours. In the past, we've seen Etha go a lot up into the top lane and gank the opposing tank. Now with that Camille, he's going to have a little bit of more extra damage. As we take a look back, this is the only time the history of these teams that have met in UNLV and Boise State that the Rebels have won. They are 1-3 all-time against Boise State, but this was for the 2018 Conference Championship, so I'm sure the Runner Rebels are more than happy to have this one victory under their belt.
Yeah, it's definitely a kind of a momentum swing, right? They were definitely down on their luck and were able to take this win and clinch it for themselves, and they've been kind of riding the momentum since. And this is the time that possibly that pendulum might swing back in Boise State's favor. So we'll have to see how that does all play out.
Did look like from the video you could spy a young Red Hots and a young Goblin up there. So there are Broncos that are familiar with the Running Rebels and have to live with that win that the Rebels have picked up every day. So that's going to be a little bit extra for them. Of course, Ascent and Ethug joining this year might not be familiar with the history, but I'm sure they were all informed. Hey, we've only ever lost this team when it mattered the most. There you go. There is the rules. Best of 3 double elimination. Finals on the 24th. Matches Tuesday and Saturday. I'll direct your attention to the bottom of the screen from left to right. That is what I have been told Boise State feels like is the strength of the team. So despite the Rebels getting the 9th seed, Boise State and their coaches think that the Rebels are the 3rd best team in the Mountain West. So a little bit of seeding mishap, a little bit of unfair towards Boise State, but still, you're the number 1 seed. Doesn't matter who you're playing. You've got to start business tonight with a W.
You got to take it and roll with it, too, because, again, we always talk about it. We'll talk about keys of the game as well here for Doc. Fish, take it away.
Got the engaged champions for Ethug. Lilia can do a little bit of that. I'll be curious to see how well he's able to engage. Play for those objectives, stay tanky. That's going to be all on Dean, the only true tank for the team, and then press your lead. So Boise State got to get off to a hot start. It is brought to you by Count, whose Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables a customized personal user experience for more than 9,000 leading brands and payment providers. If you want to stay safe online, make sure you check out Count.com, Kount.com. And I'll be curious to see that first bullet point's kind of iffy for me. It's Boise State UNLV Mountain West Fall League of Legends Tournament, 2nd round. The Rebels won the lone play-in game against Air Force to take on the Broncos, who are the number 1 seed. I don't know if I'd call Lilia a true engaged champion in the sense of the Hecarim and the Zac that we've seen Ethug on in the past. So I'll be curious of how well he plays that and how well he can maybe push an early advantage for Boise State, because we know he loves to be aggressive.
Yeah, and it's all a kind of a time situation. When you are put up against the Orn clock, you only have a certain amount of time before those items, those masterwork items, come to play and really do boon the offensive capabilities and defensive capabilities of your entire roster.
Well, Bertel, I got to give it to you. You said you threw in a quick jab about the Nautilus mid. That is actually going to be the case. Dean has gone on to the Zillion, and Ascent is on the Nautilus. So bringing it back from about a year ago when this really made waves, I'll be curious to see how well Ascent can stay alive against Euphoric on the Zoe.
It's generally both of these champions in the mid lane want to avoid hitting their big engage abilities with a Q or with any of their Qs. So whoever can get the Q first kind of wins the lane. Nautilus does a tremendous amount of damage, and it's very deceptive too.
Yeah, and I guess you would think maybe Scarface, who is E-Thug, just on a different account tonight, might be focusing in on that mid lane, trying to help Ascent not really get ahead. You don't really want those kills on the Nautilus, but maybe setting up free kills for the Lilia, who we've seen the one time E-Thug did play it, he was able to get really far ahead. He had a 25 stack Mage Eyes and was doing a ton of damage. Looks like we are going to have a late invade here onto the red buff start from Salty, Inter, and Inspire. Scarface there as well, so is Red Hot's nice hook. Going to land onto Inspire. He's going to get rooted down as well. Should be First Blood Boise State. It's going to go over to Scarface, and that should be a red buff as well. A great counter and jungle to kick things off.
I love that play so much, but the only question I have to ask is Inspire, why didn't you flash? Get something out in terms of summoners from Boise State. That way they don't just get away with it for free.
Yeah, that was sort of curious. The Broncos also really just deciding, hey, look, we think they're on the red buff. That's where Hecarim probably wants to start. So should be a 3-buff start from Scarface. He's in the mid lane. Hook going to be missed there. Nice flash by Euphoric. You can see Scarface trying to prevent the vertical jungling, heading down towards his red, damage going back and forth, but he doesn't want that Hecarim to maintain any sort of 2-buff start.
They are fully aware of the strength of UNLV's comp. They are immediately turning up the heat to max. They're not letting it preheat at all. They're immediately throwing the turkey in the oven.
See how long it's going to take Salty Inter to go online. Does have the Ghost Ignite over, or Ghost Smite, I should say, over the Flash. So, of course, nice for Hecarim to have the Ghost, but he's not going to be able to have as much escapability besides the Ultimate, so something to keep an eye on. First shot being held on there by Cleanse, who also has Cleanse, which leads me to see that he is very scared of an Ash Arrow. So we'll see if Boise State can punish that, because they have a lot more CC than just one, so Cleanse is only going to work so well.
We had mentioned here in the draft, both of you, Lovely, had kind of criticized that Lilia doesn't have that much hard engage. You got a Nautilus mid now. He's all the hard engage you need as the fight breaks out in the bottom.
Salty Inter going in, trying to make his presence felt, just knocking Goblin back to the turret. Not much going to come out. Did get the heal used by the bot lane for Boise State, so we'll see if the punish comes out. You can see his set. Going to miss the hook there. He is going to get the root, going to land, going to be able to drop some damage as well. Shield's going to hold, but right now you're going to have to think Ascent's just going to try and stay alive here, because he is not going to match the damage output of a Zoe.
He is not, especially when he's missing his crucial abilities, but it's almost an even trade. I mean, he's pushed the limits of this Zoe to use all 3 charges of the Corruption Potion. I mean, same thing for him, but when you trade even from Corruption stacks, it's well worth it.
Ghost going to be used by Salty Inter. Teleport's going to come in as well. Boise State off to a great start. Euphoric's going to go down. Red Hot's going to show up a bit late, but Boise State, a great job by Scarface predicting the gank from Salty Inter. And right now that Hecarim is having a brutal first 4 minutes. There's a stun almost going to land here onto Cleanse. There it is. Looks like we're going to teleport in on the mid lane from a side of UNLV. Ascent gets the kill from well beyond where he was. It was Euphoric coming in. So Boise State right now off to that fast start. We'll see how hard they can push the lead.
I love this pick and how much emphasis they're putting on the strength of Nautilus' early game, and the fact that at level 3 he almost has his entire kit at his disposal.
Stun gonna land onto Snakes. Nice slow coming out from Dean. A root though on the Goblin. He does not have the heal, and that should be the first pickup for UNLV, but Snakes auto attack. He had no reason to do that. Boise State lucks out a little bit. UNLV costing their 80 carry about 150 gold.
That is one of those feels bad moments. I'm sure as Snakes is typing in all chats, kill secured, you gotta feel a little tilted if you're Jhin, because that gold definitely could have bettered you out versus this Ashe. You need to start getting your kind of early game proficient Jhin ahead of this Ashe before she can start getting some crucial items. And a nice trick here from Red Hot, using the hook shot on the pillar from Inspire. Kind of an inspiring play, if you will, huh?
You're just taking over the pun roll. I will say, the one thing you got to be worried about is since Red Hot's teleported down to that mid fight where he really wasn't needed, he did concede the level advantage over to Inspire. Red Hot's now just hitting level 5. Gonna hook shot in, gonna land the stun. Gonna get that little bit of extra shield as well. Trading back and forth, but right now you can see how strong Orin is. He immediately turns around with a headbutt. Gonna have to try and use the Windshield Wiper to sustain, and now Red Hot has to be extremely careful as Inspire's gonna get the ultimate first.
Yeah, this combo, despite Red Hot's being able to use it, hookshot's on a very much larger cooldown than the Volcanic Rupture and then Searing Charge combo, so it's going to be something he needs to be careful of, and he also has to time out his passive because that shield that he gets, that's really your biggest trading tool when it comes to top lane trade.
See Goblin there all alone in the bot lane, trying to hold off from any turret platings as Dean rotated up. Scarface is there. Can he land? It's not going to hit. Doesn't have the sleep anyway, so no damage going to come out. Going to force the charge away. Slam down. Red Hot, you can see, being extremely careful with Salty into there, so Scarface the one putting on all the damage, but that should be enough to open up Red Hot to at least some safety here, as it looks like the Orin's going to back.
Is he going to be allowed to back? No, the Q's going to come out in the ultimate lullaby. It might be night-night time. He is able to get the belly and blows out, but a tremendous amount of damage. Scarface, actually, no, it's Ethug. He tricked me. He gets eliminated, executed, but he takes a killing spree with him, and no one gets to collect.
Yeah, great job by Scarface getting the dive onto Inspire and then making sure he doesn't hand over that 300 gold bounty. Has already finished the Runic Echoes. And we've talked about it almost every time Boise State has played. It's a lot of times on Ethug to be that carry. Unfortunately, right now, Red Hot's nice flash away. Ornhorn's going to land the first part. Can he get the knockback? Yes, he will. And Red Hot's going to go down, probably overstayed his welcome.
You definitely try to cash in as much as you want. You can't blame him. It is the faster way to base. And because he didn't have the bounty, not the worst thing that could happen to Boise State, but yeah, definitely I think a little bit getting too comfortable there.
Didn't at least get Salty Inter a little bit back in the game. You can see 50 to 27, the CS numbers for the junglers. Just really not allowing that Hecarim to do much of anything. He got invaded as his red. Then Scarface went down, made sure it was not a 3-buff start. This time it does look like Salty Inter is going to be able to pick it up, but hitting level 6, he is extremely low. Boise State not going to be too worried. They're going to start things off with the first dragon of the game, the Ocean Drake for Boise State. More than happy to get that little bit of lane sustain. Not even any sort of push back from UNLV. Broncos easily get that one.
I think the name indicates the playstyle of this Hecarim. When you get your first buff taken, the second time it spawns, you are overcommitting to make sure you get it. Boise State, knowing that, or at least banking on the opportunity, gets the first Drake.
Boise State going to punish him once again, going to steal his blue buff this time, so he's still only gotten one buff each clear, and Boise State doing a great job pushing the advantage, a near 1.5k gold lead, and you can see in the bot lane, Cleanse has come back with the Boots of Swiftness. He has 0 AD items right now on that Jhin, so that force shot only going to do so much damage.
It is an interesting buy, specifically against Ashe, because it, of course, reduces the effectiveness of slows, which then kind of limits her damage quite a bit. Not too much, but again, not really a bad item on Jhin in general, so it's not the worst thing he could pick up. But when you're up against the Berserker Greaves and then also the Vampiric Scepter, in terms of that damage combo, it's going to be maybe too hard for him to combat.
Let's take a look at the lanes. Every Boise State lane winning or even Ascent keeping up there 61 to 60 as he's now CSing. You also see the Boots of Mobility on that Nautilus. That tells me Boise State going to be more than happy to roam with that.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be in lane any longer than he needs to. Maybe it's just going to be a simple using the Riptide to push the lane in, bounce off the tower, immediately go bottom with that ultimate, because we've just seen an arrow. Didn't look like it connected onto anything, but again, we couldn't see. Not able to really kind of identify how Boise State wants to use these arrows for the rest of the game yet.
Now, I think that might have actually hit the Jhin just to stop the back while he was backing on a ward to just buy Boise State some time. Might even have been enough to get them the first plate of the game. As you can see, Jhin now coming back does have the BF sword, so the AD advantage has shifted over to the Jhin, but the Broncos able to pick up a turret plating, means that 180 gold for the ultimate, well worth any sort of cooldown Boise State's going to have to ensue.
Unfortunately, Shelly cries out to the moon as she is taken out, which means there's going to be a soon collection of gold. Ethug trying to get a nice low here. That Swirl Seed in the mid lane, but not able to connect it, unfortunately.
Fortunately for Boise State, there is no turret really within range of that sort of 2.5 plate execute that Shelly can deliver. So it would just be, as you mentioned, extra gold. Engage in on the mid lane. Ignite going to be used by Euphoric, as well as the exhaust onto Ascent, doing a great job. Dodging Sleepy Trouble bubble there. Hawkshot going to come through. Salty Inter was there. The Scarface has to get out. He actually doesn't even care. He's going to take his camp in the face of that Hecarim, and all Salty Inter can do is gallop away, tail between his legs.
You have to feel very strong to force a Hecarim out of his jungle like that, especially mano-a-mano. Red Hot's going to get a little cheeky here at the dive. Oh, he knows he has the support of not only his jungler, but soon to be the mid laner as well. We knew that the Mobies were going to come into play soon, but they have to make sure that this wave does get cut off in order to dive this orange.
Yeah, it does look like, unfortunately, Euphoric doing a great job recognizing that. He's going to hard push and try and get a plate. Not sure if he's going to have enough minions. And now you can see the pings coming out. Ascent is down there, and he wants to pick up a kill. Looks like Euphoric might be able to get away. Boise State's bot lane doing a great job trying to punish UNLV in a very slow-paced game. 10 minutes in, only 6 eliminations. Everybody hyper aware of where everyone is. And right now, no ganks to show for it. And that probably punishes Boise State, because you can tell they're comp once again.
I think they're comfortable kind of predicting where this Hecarim is going, using the Hawkshot for their own lane to see where these two very important and high damage bottom lane champions could be. They don't really consider Hecarim much of a threat. He's just sitting on the Sheen. But the moment that that Trinity Force comes out, he truthfully will be doing tons of damage.
Always got to make sure one champion in your game is doing tons of damage. Otherwise, a certain person would be very disappointed in how your league game came out. And I mean, really, the thing that stands out to me every time I look, 110 CS to 50. I know jungle camps aren't as one-to-one scaling, but Scarface is just putting in work. That is E-Thug if you're just joining us. He is absolutely dominating Salty Inter right now. He is really just that far ahead on that Lilia. There's the Magi.
Oh, there it
is.
Up.
No Dark Seal. That was a full straight Magi's purchase. He is so supremely confident. He's going to keep dominating.
Magi's purchase as well. Only as well for the finishing of the boots, so He's wanting to continue his lead as much as possible. He's just opened the book, cracked it open, smelled the new book smell, and the first page is to try and get some leads. Unfortunately for them, they also have plans here in the bottom lane as UNLV is going to engage. The ultimate bar time is going to give enough time for them to get the TP out. Red Hots is going to go in, but the shackles will be unleashed, and they will be rooted in place. The set with low mana, no mobility, as he does have to force and really see it in place. Boise State, nice turnaround, forcing the gank to go awry, but it's not done yet. The TP from Warren, the Call of the Forge God will come out as well, and the Devastating Charge will come out too. So much damage on the tower, and the dodge, the Hextech Ultimatum will say your only other choice is to perish here, as Boise State picks up one in the face of losing one as well. But they're also not done. Scarface is here, and he wants to make as many scars as possible. He's going to go forward, get as much damage. Rossy's going to come out. No lullaby needed, because it is the bedtime for UNLV. They have overstayed. They have passed the curfew. Go to bed or you're grounded.
Fire trying to get away. It's not going to matter, as you bet, should Baratel. A great response by Boise State, and potentially UNLV over cautious from the Zillion that came out onto Goblin, and they basically full disengage. Shelly's going to come out. That's going to be a full first tower going to go over. We'll see if all the plate gold goes over to Red Hots. That's what Boise State wants. You can see it was split up. Salty Inter going to come in. Red Hots going to stop the charge. Boise State had a couple of members there. That Hecarim has to be very careful. Will he be baited in by the low health bars? You can see the pings coming out. Euphoric's come down as well. He's going to get a kill. Level up going to be used onto Scarface. Going to miss the W, unfortunately, for the bonus damage. Dean, there you go. He's got the level up. He's now going to be able to take down the Salty Inter. Can he finish off Euphoric? He probably is able to. There's the double kill. And now Snakes might be caught all alone. The root should be the disengage, and Boise State will gladly take that trade.
E-Thug just went to Barnes & Noble, picked up his book, and then I don't know if he went to Spark Notes or something. He's immediately halfway through.
Yeah, went from just a fresh zero-stacked Magi's to 18 in one fight. You gotta love how Boise State played that. Curtain call gonna come out as the Broncos pick up the second dragon. A couple of them land onto Ascent, but not enough to make him any worried at all. He's gonna go right back, and it is going to be an infernal Drake for the rest of the game. Both those teams gonna love that bonus damage.
We'll see where they continue to push the lead. I love the fact that Boise State is playing so responsibly and so patiently as well. They wait until they have a man advantage, kind of similar to Doxy's game, super weird, and then they turn around and take these continued unfair fights for UNLV.
I think if you're looking at this game and you want to see why is it 11-4 Boise State, the jungle difference says it all. Level 11 on Scarface, level 8 on Salty Inter. He is the lowest level in the game, tied with his bot lane. And that has really shut down any play UNLV can make, because even in a 5v5, Boise State basically has almost another member in terms of just raw stats on their jungler.
And not only that, but in gold terms as well. I mean, 6,000 gold. Yes, a lot of it is on Scarface or Ethug, but he has definitely translated that into the success and item power for his team. You got the mobilities, which is kind of the power spike item for the way as this Nautilus is being used. Ashe is going to be Ashe regardless. Shirelli is for the continuing engage, and what is that? That is the tons of damage item on this carry top laner. Unfortunately for right now, they're not the limelight recipient. It's going to be Scarface for right now.
I feel bad for Salty Inter. He just backed to get the stinger. Triforce only cost 300 more gold, and he still couldn't finish it. That is a feels bad, because you know 1 or 2 camps, you're basically going to have the Triforce. So the question becomes, when do you back and give Boise State potentially another advantage? You can see Herald Ina, the second of the Rift Heralds, being picked up there by Boise State at 16 minutes, so no concern about Baron spawning. There she goes, crying off across the mid momentarily. There it is, and Boise State in complete control. Red Hot's going to try and jump onto Euphoric, not going to be able to land the stun. Hextech ultimatum going to be used. It's Sleepy Trouble Bubble, but it's not going to be enough to buy any time, or will it? As the Ornern comes out, so does the barrier, and now Red Hot has to be very scared. Looks like he should be able to disengage. Salty Inter trying to do what he can to stop Ascent, but he's only level 9. Red Hot's able to make it out, but the chat should open up an easy mid-turret for the side of the Broncos. We'll see if they want to drop Heraldina, if they want to hold on to it for now. Nice dodge of the Jin shot. Looks like they're going to disengage, but they should be able to get that mid-tower momentarily.
I love the fact that we were just talking about how much this Lilia has contributed to the items and deepening of the pockets for the rest of their teammates. Now Red Hot is able to pull 2 versus 1 in the bottom lane and an Ornhorn as well. That's incredible.
Sense able to get the top turret, so the Broncos just building on that gold lead, nearing 7K. Going to be summoning Heraldina off to the side. Should go into the mid lane and should be able to head right to that tier 2 turret. Good job by Goblin picking up that one. Charge is going to go off. Nice stun, but a nice shield used by Snakes there to stop any sort of follow-up engage. Minions also pushing against Boise State, but they're able to get tier 2 mid tower all the way down to about 30%.
I do like the fact that on this Lilia, you go for about 2-3 items, 2.5, 3 items, full of AP. Of course, the Magi is going to be full stacks. It's going to be more than enough. But then adding the Leandri's burn on top of your already burning passive, super smart. What I wonder is whether or not this Lilia is going to build defensive. They can be the front line for the team. Dean actually getting popped here. GLP is going to come out from this Morgana. They are going to get the ultimate out. Unfortunately, he does get a little bit too close to Zoe, but Zoe's just a very balanced champion. You don't even know where she's coming from.
It's a good job by Dean actually to eat the Hextech GOP from Snake so that he was able to sort of reset his health bar. So shocked that the Rebels this time didn't back off, because last time they full backed off and it actually cost them a fight. You can see everyone gonna just confidently reset and go back to base. You gotta wonder for Boise State. You can see the Dragon Soul is spawning soon on the map. How soon do they want to force a fight? You can see the pings coming out. Boise State setting up around that blue buff. Unfortunately, Infernal Dragon means there's not going to be any bush to hide in, so they are going to be spotted out there by the ward.
Zillion's ult is a fantastic ultimate for a team fight. Despite that pick and getting that ultimate out of the hands of Boise State, they still were sitting on the call the Forge God because of the previous play from Red Hots. So they were unable to capitalize on it, and that just sets them a little bit further back.
And you can see the ult from Dean nearly back online. Should be back up before any fight even breaks out. You have Euphoric in the top lane. Does have the teleport available if they start a fight. The tier 2 bot lane tower would be an easy target. You can see the amount of damage that Scarface is putting on. And I think Boise State's just going to say confidently, we're just going to take this Dragon Soul and they're going to dare the Rebels to engage on them.
Yeah, getting to Soul Point right now is phenomenal for them because of the nature of the Soul itself. This gives them, despite whatever attempt they may be to survive the burst combo, having 2 Infernals and then having, of course, collecting the Infernal Soul is just so much burst on this kind of relatively low bursty team.
Not even a contest from the Rebels, so they are running out of time on these major objectives. One Dragon left, Baron up in 20, but right now you can see the Rebels just scared of anything. Gonna use the Proto Belt there from Ascent, try and engage with the hook. Unfortunately, Spider Nautilus not gonna go anywhere, and the Broncos right now really making UNLV scared of that 8K gold lead, and Ornn still trying to get close to those Ornn items to try and shrink that gap.
I just love the amount of damage that Nautilus can put out, both with the Titan's Wrath and the Aftershock combo, and then at the same token, how much tankiness it provides him. He can still be the frontliner that Boise State's need to continue these engages, and then continue to get away a tremendous amount of damage within the confines of those fights as well.
You see the Leandry's finished on Scarface, so he is now 3 items deep. A needlessly large rod could mean a purple hat coming to accent him very shortly. Ascent, unfortunately, going to hook right into the wall. So you can see the sleep going to land onto you. Sleepy Trouble level is going to be dodged. Ash Arrow to make sure that is an elimination. That health bar was 60 to 0 in a second. Hook shot going to miss. Boise State trying to find out Inspire. Headbutts into the wall. Hextech Ultimatum going to come down. Ornhorn not even going to be redirected. Curtain Call is going to come out. There's really no one on Boise State who has to be worried. Red Hot gets hit by the Hextech GOP, dodges away with a hook shot from any sort of binding, and that is a free Tier 2 bot lane tower for the Broncos, and they continue the push. 10K gold up. Hook shot nearly went in from Red Hot, but he's just playing with the Rebels.
The fact that they were able to initiate that with underneath the 2 towers there, phenomenal job from Boise State. They make a potential 4v5, even at a 4v4, continue to push their advantage while Divin and Ornn supposed to be the tank, and all the while, this Nautilus is pushing top. He might not seem like a typically fast pusher, but because Riptide and Titan's Wrath scale so well with AP, and he's got the Proto Belt, he is a split pushing monster when it comes to getting minions to towers.
Root lands onto Red Hot. Really nothing to do there, and UNLV just sort of has to try and farm what they can in their base. Sleepy Trouble is going to miss onto Scarface. No follow-up for the Broncos. You can see 3 members backing. They're going to reset, and that gold lead almost up to 11K, and we're only 20 minutes in.
Yeah, another statistic also important to mention. This Lilia is 1 page from completing this textbook, and this textbook teaches you how to do nothing but deal pain.
Yeah, on the downside, I guess, if he isn't as tanky as you might see, some Lilias opting for the Rylai, so if he does go down, he's going to lose a lot of his progress on the book. The bookmark just falls out. So it's definitely one of those items where how many times are you going to die before you sell it, because an empty one is going to do absolutely nothing. So you got to be very cautious on how long you want to hold on to your treasured childhood book.
I think when it comes down to it, it's a great item that if you have a lead, oh, another fight's going to break out here on the bottom side. No Hextech Ultimatum needed because it's massive amount of damage. No, it is going to be called out. Inspire will have to call out the Call of Force God, but dies before he's able to get it. The hook shot will get him Hook, Line, and Seeker out to safety. Coral Seed will be here. Spell Shield's going to be given out. Nice Dark Biting, not able to find anyone. The Scarface is continuing to engage. The Sleeping Lullaby will be given out. Death Saving Charge will be pushed out as well. Hookshot's going to be here to re-engage. A lot of damage from Boise State. They just have so much damage, and this Camille will be the first of Boise State to fall. But Goblin flash forward and gets the volley. A tribute to Legolas there for the double kill.
That might be all Boise State needs. Going to get the bot inhibitor tower. Probably going to get the bot inhibitor. Snakes has respawned, but I'm not sure there's much him and Cleanse can do. Cleanse 0-1 and 2 just has the Storm Razor's finish as well as the Rapid Fire Cannon. Ascent taking some damage. Going to dodge the Hextech GOP. Boise State going to rotate over towards the mid lane there. Curtain Call comes out, but it's nowhere near the bot inhibitor. Ascent's taking damage, but Dean's going to get the bot inhibitor for free, and Boise State gets out, only losing that 1 member. And a great job by Scarface. He got the ult from Zillion and made sure he stuck in the fight, died to some residual AoE, so he was able to reset his health.
I think despite everything shining right now in terms of jungle performance here for Ethug or Scarface, I really got to give credit to Red Hots to push himself forward enough to pull all the aggro, to continue to get hookshot CC, and at the end of it all, make sure that there are no lost bookmarks for this giant page. And again, he's going to be the catalyst to go in. The speed up here from Zillion, giving him 99% movement speed. Is just going to be too much. The arrow's going to come out. There's no spell shield for that. Volley will follow as well. So much slow. This is your tank being targeted. On the other side of the fight, Boise State is running rampant all over UNLV's front, back, side lane, backside, wherever they need to be, they're there, and they're continuing to press forward. They're looking to end the game.
And Boise State, they've got the super minion wave there. It's just euphoric alive, and there's really not much the Zoe can do. Just sitting on the fountain. That is a surrender. Going to come out from the running Rebels. Really wouldn't have mattered. Maybe sped the game up by about 20 seconds. But a huge victory to kick things off here for Boise State. Going up 1-0 in this Mountain West League of Legends Fall Tournament. One game away from advancing to the next round as the top seed, taking down the Rebels who had to play in. So Mountain West says they're the 9th seed, and Boise State easily holding serve there with a very, very dominant victory. Take a look here at the Rocky Mountain Warfare Invitational coming up, the Warzone Duos Tournament. Free to open, free to go anywhere and check it out. If you want more information, Idaho Army National Guard on any social media. There was a quick look at the prizes right there. I've heard a ton of great things on every single Call of Duty event we've had with the Idaho Army National Guard, and I'm sure this is going to be another fantastic one. So if you're interested in a Warzone tournament for Modern Warfare 2019, go on, check out Idaho Army National Guard on social media. Get information, get registered. It is a Warzone Duo tournament, and it's going to be a ton of fun coming up October 10th. There's the social media information you need for the Idaho Army National Guard. I cannot wait for that. Big fan of the gunfight tournaments we've had. Hugely excited to see how we're going to handle the Warzone tournament. But right now, Veritel, I'm even more excited to see how or if UNLV can respond, because my goodness, Boise State, we played the video of UNLV beating them in the 2018 Conference Championship. That might have fired up the Broncos, because it was all go from the start, and Boise State rarely blinked.
Level 1, they said, we have a timer. We need to continue to push our advantage if we can get one, so we don't fall behind these more and masterwork items. I think that might be kind of what draft was what caused the UNLV to kind of fall behind. You had Zoe in the mid lane that couldn't burst or win lane inherently. Nautilus with the Moby boots was able to continue to push. And look at just how much pressure, 3-1-1 when this Lilia first fell. And this was after a tower dive here in the top lane.
Yeah, I think if it wasn't for that death to the tower, Scarface would have ended the game with no death. So he actually did not die to the hands of the UNLV players, which is absolutely incredible. I had questions about how the Lilia was going to work, because we saw Doc's keys to the game was all about the engaged champion, and he played it fantastically. This was my favorite part. Dean's just trying to level him up so he can hit that level 2 ultimate, and Scarface just keeps going in and runs down a couple of members, and he's able to pick up 2 huge kills.
You know, it's really cool to see such a draft bust out like this, and just like you guys were talking about, pop off. And I know that we had talked about maybe the carry top laner being the one to pop off, but when you have Lilia on your team, if she's behind, she's similar to Elise, almost completely unplayable. When she's ahead, she is a monster, and Boise State knew that in this kind of situation, that was a monster worth protecting.
And I really like just the micro play of Scarface. He gets the ult from the Zillion, and almost any good team will just fully disengage. But he made sure he sort of stayed in the Heck Room AoE to eventually die to that residual damage and be able to come back up at full life. So I thought that was played spectacularly. The Zillion ult was really in the heads of UNLV. There was another play where he dropped it onto Goblin, and then it was a full back off from the Rebels when they probably had all of the advantage. And if they kill Ashe, she's kind of stuck in the middle of the Rebels. So Dean playing some mind games on the Zillion. Nautilus in the mid lane, huge shout out to you for predicting that one, and I thought Ascent played it extremely well. I mean, he really didn't gank anyone, he just didn't die, and he's like, I'm going to play split push Nautilus, I'll catch you guys later. But it worked out. I mean, you have to love how Boise State played that game. They played it their way, and as you mentioned, they shut down the Ornn, and we globally talked about it. They shut down that Heck Room. He had no chance to do anything for 10 levels, 12 levels, the whole game. I just felt like he could never do anything.
Well, that's kind of what happens when you play a team that all 3 of your lanes have to scale. They have to have time to build. And even your jungler, most Heck Rooms have to hyperfarm until they get to that Trinity Force power spike before they can even participate in anything. They had to continue to respond to Boise State's brilliant plan, map awareness, map plays, and objective control. Otherwise, they were just going to forego any sort of chance of winning the game. But when they did, they weren't at a crucial point for their entire draft. So I think they can either play more patiently, get deep rewards to see where Boise State's rotating from, and play the same comp, or play a little bit more of an early game power spike.
Take a look at the bracket here. We already have Nevada advancing to the semifinals there on the winners bracket side. This is a double elimination tournament. Losers bracket hasn't been quite set up yet. We do have Colorado State, a team Boise I'm sure would love to get some revenge on a heartbreaking 5-game series in the Mountain semifinals last semester to avoid a potential conference championship for the Broncos. They won their first game against Fresno State, so they are on their way to a date with potentially Boise State October 6th. We'll have to see how Games 2 and potentially Games 3 go in both those series. But Boise State, this is like a pure revenge tournament. They kick things off with UNLV, who, as we talked about, beat them in the 2018 conference championship. Potentially could be facing Colorado State in the next round. The Rams with an epic come-from-behind 3-2 series victory last semester to advance to the Mountain West Conference Championships, where they ended up falling to Nevada. So Boise State, this could be a revenge tour for them if they're able to stay on the winner's side of the bracket. But if things go right here in Game 2 or Game 3 or later on, they would have a second chance to fight back on the loser's side.
And a little bit finer details, of course. When it comes down to these games, it is, of course, the 5v5 on the Sunrise Rift. Still a best of 3, which means that Boise State is just one game away from taking it all home. Still double elimination, hence why you mentioned, of course, that loser's bracket or the second chance bracket, the redemption bracket. Finals on the 24th, and matches are going to be every Tuesday and Saturday. So we got a lot of League of Legends.
Yeah, and those logos are not in any just random order. That is how, from what I've been told, Boise State has ranked the teams from strongest to weakest. Boise State did get the #1 seed in this tournament, so the Broncos may potentially not tooting their own horns. But the big difference, UNLV got the 9th seed. You can see there Boise State thinks they're the 3rd best team in this tournament, a D3 average. So Boise State, though, they were playing like it was the 1v9. I mean, that was just an epic beatdown for Boise State in Game 1. I'll be curious what bans come out, and it really feels like we're getting closer and closer to, can we let the Rumble through if we're UNLV or any other team? Because you have things like Lilia now you have to worry about that really have been sort of nice to see Boise State trying to get a scent on that Rumble, saying you just can't ban Rumble because we're so great on every other champion.
It's interesting because when it comes down to it, I think that the way that Boise State played this particular first game shows how much they still respect the fact that they put UNLV in 3rd seed. Usually there are some situations where they, Boise State as a team, they might kind of, maybe pull punches a little bit. In this situation, they are completely putting the emphasis on UNLV is a great team. They're a great organization. We're going to continue to try and keep our thoughts and pressure, the highlights of our team focused, because we don't want to lose to the team that we hold in such high regard.
So 3 members of Boise State up on the stage. Red Hot's Dean and Ascent taking in that victory on the blue turf. As we talked about, Red Hot's one of the members who was on that Bronco team in 2018 that lost to the Running Rebels in the conference championship. So he definitely has revenge on his mind. Boise State, as we said, 3-1 all time against the Rebels. So they've dominated this matchup, but the Rebels got the one victory that Boise State I'm sure would love to have. We'll see if the Broncos can go to 4-1. And do you have any sort of predictions here for a ban from UNLV, Baratel? It is Boise State, UNLV, Mountain West League of Legends fall tournament. Do you have, Lilia potentially? I don't know if the Nautilus can draw one, so maybe Lilia might be the only one band they want to shade in, because Boise State, I thought their bands were fantastic.
It's tough because when it comes to any jungler, in the poor Goblin being all in the corner here, but he's playing Ashe. He's kind of used to that kind of treatment. Hey,
throw the
arrow
get us
an ult from across the map. Go push a wave somewhere else. When it comes down to it, though, it's hard to ban out Ethug Scarface because, as we can clearly see, the times that he is ahead, he is monstrously ahead. And it doesn't matter what champion he's playing.
Yeah, it really, where there was a point where it was basically Rumble ban, and then it went, okay, here's 4 bans against Ethug. This time, we actually saw 3 bans against the set, the Azir, the Lucian, and the Rumble, which might have been part of the reason that we did see the Nautilus mid come out, because then he even picked the Zoe. So it really was basically 4 bans against Ascent, and he still played it spectacularly. So I'll be curious to see, like you said, if they switch over to Ethug. There's one champion that we know Ethug's love to play. It hasn't had the greatest success for Boise State, but it is that Twitch who got buffed. He's seeing a ton of run in Worlds right now as the AD carry role, at least. So I would be curious to see if Boise State considers the Twitch in Game 2, or if they're just going to say, hey, let's put that on the shelf. We want to make sure we wrap things up, because Ethug's been great on Twitch. Usually when he plays Twitch, the results have not been in Boise State's favor, though.
I'm a little bit more optimistic. That seems like a very realistic thing that can happen. we still have Red Hots, you know, again, I hate to continue to throw back to the past, but literally one of the best qualities I've ever seen. And he's wearing an Akatsuki mask, so it's possible he's channeling his inner ninja. Maybe a more viable option would be Shen top. And, of course, that pairs well with that Twitch.
Yeah, Shen would be spectacular. I mean, he is incredibly strong. I don't think you could go wrong if Red Hots ended up on the Ornn as well. I know Inspire didn't play it as well. He didn't inspire anyone to play Ornn, but you just take a look at Worlds, and that will do enough to show you Ornn's a very strong champion. So Ornn Shen, would not be surprised if that's Boise State's MO. They've also played a lot of Malphite, a little less traditional champion that we've had some success on. So, yeah, I mean, the world's open for Red Hots. It is a best of 3, so I don't want to say you have as much room to mess, but you do have a game 2 to experiment with before potentially going to a game 3. But I'm sure Boise State would love to wrap things up here. But, I mean, a Twitch and a Shen, I think that would go perfectly. And then, you know what, if you throw the Nautilus mid again, you know, just kind of funnel to the Twitch.
Well, I think to play devil's advocate here, I think it's important that within the tournament, with it just starting, to not show as many cards in your hand as possible. If you have something that works and your opponent lets it through the draft phase, run it again. It's obviously working for you, and that way you can keep your very interesting and kind of pocket picks secret.
Yeah, and I would say if UNLV puts in a Lilia ban, I wouldn't mind if if Scarface just said, I'm going to play Hecarim, and I'm going to show you how to get it done. Because, I mean, Boise State's 2-0 when he's gone on that Hecarim. He's absolutely just ran through teams. And I think there could be a little bit of, hey, Salty, let me show you how to play the Hecarim to the fullest advantage. But I'll be curious because Boise State's only brought that out in rare circumstances. And as you just mentioned, Baratel, you might not want to show your cards too early before a potential championship game or something of the like.
Right, and it's draft focused, right? I think specifically the Nautilus mid came out because he can withstand the whole combo of Zoe and be able to offer enough engage and frontline opportunity for your team to capitalize on. Alternatively, it was going to be Zillion mid, and Zillion can survive the lane matchup, but you have to expend your ultimate every time you get Sleepy Treble bubbled, and that's not fun.
No, yeah, I thought Boise State did a great job. I don't know if it was an audible on the fly or what it was, but as you mentioned, a great job. Nice. Saying, hey, you know, we can put Zillion support. It's unconventional, but it's still a thing, and that's we've seen why that ultimate is so powerful. So, yeah, I mean, Boise State, you can't complain about the Salt Run back if it comes out. Unfortunately, there's the Rumble still taken away. UNLV not playing any games. Echo the answer back. The one trick's not going to have any fun on either side.
I mean, it's understandable, though, right?
It is. It still makes sense. There's the Lilia band going to come out from UNLV, so they are going to give away the Grave. Nunu again for Boise State, and the Samira from the Rebels. Those are two bands that I still do not get, one for Boise State and one for UNLV.
Strong Samira, I think, I mean, despite the lack of play and kind of appreciation from others in high elo, I think she can be potentially strong. Similar to that, another strong ADC type champion is going to be this Graves, and that is almost assuredly going into the jungle.
Yeah, and I'll be curious. This is sort of the second time UNLV has almost used what I would call a fourth ban. Last time it was the Zoe, just taking it away before his set could pick it. This time it's the Graves, almost banning it away from Ethug by just picking it. There we see, there it is, the Hecarim being picked up right after the Lilia ban. Ash, the run back for Boise State, and I'm already excited to see how they're going to set up. We've seen Yumi on that Hecarim, just basically sort of pocket him, but usually Goblin's on the Vygar for that. I don't know if they can say leave Goblin solo against an Ash, depending on what UNLV picks.
We want to be correct. As casters, it's kind of our job to try and, you know, give people what they want in terms of knowledge. It is possible, as we saw last game, Nautilus flexing out to mid lane, that this Hecarim is instead flexed to top, and they're waiting to counterpick with jungle to see what the rest of the team comp's going to be from UNLV.
It's like the Caitlyn's going to be picked up there by UNLV. Interesting choice. She's had a handful of nerfs in the past. Almost knocked her off her upper echelon tier. And there is the Lux pick. That's something that Snakes loves to play. It's the second most played after the Lulu. So they're going to go, but it's curious to see if it is the more support Lux or the full damage. And a Blitzcrank answer for Boise State. And there is no disengage for that UNLV bot lane. If Dean's on point with his hooks, they're going to have a long game once again.
This is going to be pretty cool. You know, they just suffered at the hands of the Dredge Line hook. What's better than the Dredge Line hook? The full rocket grab. And the Zoe coming out. You had mentioned before that Boise State might want to pull out some champions. Wait a second.
I think that was a ban. That was a ban.
Oh, okay.
I was going to say,
like,
yeah,
wait, that can't be possible here.
Yeah, you can't make a fourth pick, so they're going to ban that one away from UNLV. There's the Azir ban once again. I'll be curious to see what Boise State wants to pit as their final one. It's going to be the Akali, so they actually want to make sure that no one can play it. Maybe banning it away before Red Hots accidentally locks it in, because I didn't see too much of it on Euphoric's match history. More than a Yasuo main, but he did have some Akali sprinkled in. And I'll be curious to see if we get a third targeted ban. There it is, yeah, towards Ascent once again. So there's the Lucian, 3 bans towards Ascent. Be curious to see what they're going to put him on, especially with the Zoe banned away by his own team.
If this is Lux mid and Boise State's tempted to draft another Nautilus mid, it's definitely a little bit of a better matchup for the side of the Lux, but not by much.
I would have to think this is Lux support. I mean, that's Snake's second most played champion. I would think if they're picking it, it has to be in the support role. But hey, I mean, there it is again. Boise State's going to pick the Nautilus up regardless of what their mid lane matchup is.
Well, dang. Again, you're probably right. Caitlyn Morgana's usually the pick. Maybe they didn't feel comfortable on how much Morgana was being successful in those team fights or the pick potential. Lux is a little bit better because she can shield more than one person. Her binding comes out just a little bit quicker, and her damage potential is drastically higher than Morgana overall.
Orianna going to be picked up there. That probably seals it. I will say, yes, Lux can shield more people. She can't make people spell immune when she shields them. So that is going to be something UNLV cannot bank on. There's the Ornn once again. Be curious to see if Red Hots, as you mentioned, there's potential we could flex that Hecarim top lane, but I would think that you're going to see Ethug on that, or Scarface, at least for this game, on that Hecarim. Could be the Camille runback. He really did a great job. Maybe got a little greedy once or twice, but I don't see any problem with putting the Camille, especially with the Nautilus here once again.
It's possible. We'll have to wait and see. It's going to actually be Silas. Now, Silas can go jungle. Silas can also top lane. But I do know that in solo queue, Red Hots has been on a tear with this Silas top, so this is something that he's been practicing. And look at the plethora of fantastic ultimates you have to pick on the side of UNLV.
The Shockwave, just I want to make sure I'm correct. The Shockwave would go off on the Silas model, correct?
Yeah, he sombreros it regardless, but that's not too bad because Silas is the champion that's incredibly mobile and can dive backline at ease.
Yeah, I'm guessing the target's going to be called the Forge God. Ornhorn's going to be a plenty in this matchup, but we will have to see. Boise State won game 1. They're up 1-0, despite Glovely and at least me both thinking UNLV had the better draft. So we'll pitch it over to Glovely once again for his takeaways on game 2's drafts for both sides.
So credit to Boise State. I wasn't confident in their draft setup, but they did prove that they can pull it off. The Nautilus threw off my calculations a little. You don't see that in the mid lane too often. But we look again, and Boise State has once more drafted a very pick-oriented composition. They have a lot of champions that can pick somebody out with their strong crowd control and just kind of blow them up, make them explode. 2 champions I want to highlight here are, of course, the Nautilus and the Lilia. So Nautilus, of course, AP Vanguard tank, but we've just proven that it can be played very effectively in the mid laning. I do think it's important to note that his scaling does tend to fall off as the game goes on. So that's something that you have to pay attention to. A little bit of magic resist, and you can usually negate what he brings to the table. The other champion we're talking about is that Lilia that got banned away. We saw how powerful that champion can be when you protect it. The Zillion was a great pick by Boise State because you can always pop that on top of your Lilia, keep her alive. You give her the movement speed to be able to duck in and out of the fights. Very powerful champion. No wonder it got banned away.
And let's go back to what we talked about in game 1, Glovely. One player from each team. We'll start with Boise State, who you are going to put your eye on and say that player's got to have a good game for that team to be successful.
If I'm going to pick one player that really has to go above and beyond, personally, I think the Silas is going to be an important champion for his ability to dictate where and when these fights happen. I also think other good champions to keep an eye on. I think this Nautilus has proven that he is out for blood. I do think we're going to see that in the bottom lane this time, though, instead of as a support. Silas, generally a better mid laner than a support champion as far as that option goes. I also want to, on UNLV's side, There is an Orianna in the game, so of course we have to play a little game of follow the ball. Where is Orianna putting her ball? How is that affecting the team fight? You put that on top of a champion who can dive into the opponent's team, like this Ornn, or you throw it onto an ally who's about to get jumped on, and that shockwave can turn entire team fights around. They've got a very strong team fight composition to be building off of, so pay very close attention to where that ball is. It could change the course of a fight in one button press.
Yeah, ball delivery system going to be very key for UNLV. And finally, Glovely, I don't want to say you were wrong, but you did side for UNLV after the draft. Give you a redemption shot here. Whose draft do you like more?
This time, now that I'm pretty sure it's not a mid-lane Nautilus, and that's not throwing off my calculations, I'm pretty sure I do like Boise State's lineup here a lot more. They have a lot of strong engage potential. I do think there is a little bit of worry if they do fall behind, especially with the Blitzcrank. Blitzcrank likes to play when his team is ahead to pick out key targets and blow them up. He doesn't have a lot he offers to the team when you're on the back foot and trying to get away.
Well, Glovely, as much as we like you, I'm going to have to say we don't want to see you again because that would mean there's a Game 3, and I don't think anyone for Boise State wants to go to that. But I appreciate the insight. We'll see if you're correct. And like I said, if there is a Game 3, we will have you back with us, but I don't think anyone wants that. Not because we don't like you, Glovely. We just want Boise State to pick up the victory here in this best of 3 and wrap up the series. UNLV Boise State, second round of the Mountain West League of Legends Fall Tournament. The Broncos, the #1 overall seed, as seeded by the Mountain West. UNLV number 9 had to win a play-in game over Air Force to get here. And Baratel, I want to see how Scarface punishes UNLV on the Hecarim, and almost like a, hey, hit me up for some lessons afterwards.
I want to say that he's Hecarim because we've seen him on it before, but again, this is the first time we've seen Nautilus mid. It is possible that Nautilus, Silas, or Hecarim can jungle. You know, who really knows what's going to happen? You're probably right, but I want to make sure that everyone's options are available here. When it comes down to it, though, I think they're going to play with the same amount of forward pressure as possible because from level 1, they were continued to invade. They were going with the big rotations. They were committing level 3 TPs to mid lane and then a 5-man bottom lane fight at like less than 10 minutes. It's kind of Boise State realizing that, hey, we're really, really strong early game. And the same thing kind of is the approach to the way they're playing against this particular team comp. Switching the Zoe out for Orianna is a great call, but you still have to be able to get a 5v5. And Boise State, with the way that they're playing, does not want those fair fights.
Yeah, and it is going to be interesting. They don't have, I mean, they have the Ornn as maybe the best ball delivery system, but who is going to deliver that ball besides the Orianna potentially into the team fight? So a lot of pressure on Euphoric to figure out where he wants to go with that. And I will say the one thing that I want to be careful of is for Boise State, don't get overconfident from last game because I'm going to expect UNLV to full ward up the jungle, maybe even split 2 and 3, or maybe even bank on a full engage. So if you're Boise State, if you don't have 5, I don't feel very confident going in because that is the one thing we talked about when it is a 3-game series. They did show their hand. They want to invade. So you've got to make sure if you're Boise State, you are utterly confident you do not get blown up in a level 1 fight and throw away any sort of advantage.
This is the coolest thing about this, though. Oh, y'all let you hit the keys of the game first, and then we'll talk about it.
I don't know if you got anything that's cooler than Doc's keys to the game, though, Baratel. It's an engaged champ for Ethug. I'll give that one a check. Play for the objectives. Boise State didn't lose a single one. 3 Dragons and 2 Rift Heralds last game. Stay tanky. That one's going to be once again on the Nautilus, and then press your lead, something they did an excellent job of last time. Can they do it again is going to be the question. It's made possible by Count. Count's Identity Trust Global Network delivers real-time fraud prevention, account protection, and enables a personalized customer experience for more than 9,000 leading payment plans and providers. Quick, accurate identity trust decisions, delivers safe payments, account creation, and log-in events, and so much more. You want to stay safe online? You can count on Count. Check them out, KOUNT.com. Bet you UNLV saying, hey, Count, can you be a 6th member in our game? Because we want to be safe level 1. And here we go, Boise State with the full invade, but that is a blue ward that they just walked over. And you can see the pings coming out, maybe a counter invade from the side of UNLV, as Boise State is not going to find anything but air.
Yeah, that ward must have been sponsored by Count as well, because that was the only way they were going to stay safe against this team.
Well, if we get the backs coming out from Boise State for a full reset, they've got to be careful that they are not ran into on their own blue. Fill us in on what your cool thing was, Baratel, before we had Doc's keys to the game.
Well, it got destroyed by a ward, but when it comes down to it, if you know that a team's going to invade, and you know they're going to invade again, having Blitzcrank and Nautilus on your team almost ensures that they want to have the enemy team group up and defend an objective, because it's way easier to hit 5 fish in one barrel than 1 fish in a barrel. So they were hoping to get a pick there, but again, the ward spotting out. So really good play here from UNLV, and a little bit of that, again, horizontal jungling that we've talked about so frequently here.
Yeah, I know Euphoric, you could see him rotate over. Did not see if he was able to get a ward over the wall on blue buff to let his team know that Scarface is there. That is Ethug if you're just joining us, just on a different account. No new jungler for Boise State. Ethug been playing spectacularly. Ascent once again on the Nautilus in the mid lane. Dean now going to see if he can punish anyone. Goblin and Cleanse trading right back and forth. No Black Shield to deal with this time from Snakes, who has gotten more of the tanky support Lux route, where he does have the Glacial Augment. Not something that I'm very familiar seeing with on the Lux. Usually the Guardian or the Comet for some more harass.
I think sometimes when you're not so confident in your ability to to land the crucial bindings, you use of course, the GLP, the Spooky Ghosties, not only to create vision and opportunities to not have wards everywhere. Nice trade here in the top lane. Both high damage, high sustained top laners, Conqueror fully stacked, but not able to use the full stacks there to his advantage. When it comes down to it, having Glacial Augment just makes it easier to play Lux, really.
Yeah, make those skill shots easier to hit, as you mentioned. Red Hots and Inspire going back there in the top lane. It is, like you mentioned, vertical jungling coming up this game, so no hard punish, but now Salty Inter has been found out. Dean gonna hook away the Gromp and actually
he got
it away. What a play by Dean. It won't go down in the highlight reel, but that's 105 gold denied from the jungler of UNLV.
That takes so long for a support to get 105 gold. That is actually crazy.
Could be a full rotation down as well. Maybe it looks like members of Boise State might have thought that Graves was still sitting there. Graves had retreated to his own tri-bush, so nothing going to come of it as the team's playing slow. And Euphoric's already backing for Darkseal? Okay, I don't know if that was worth it. He's going to run back to lane, but that was an interesting choice to say the least.
You know, it's not terrible. It's only justifiable in the fact that both these mid laners have the Corruption Potion, and you get the additive potion value from this Darkseal. Is it great? No, because you just set 350 gold aside, delaying your Lost Chapters, which is an absolutely paramount item on the Orianna, but it's not the worst item. He could have bought like a dagger to have been worse.
Dean unfortunately unable to land the hook. He saw Salty Inter was waiting in the wings, but nothing's going to come of it as both junglers going to walk away. Right now, Scarface doing a great job once again farming in the jungle, trying to hit level 6. Going to go with the Ghost and Smite. Was kind of hoping for the Ignite Smite, something we've seen from Boise State in the past on Hecarim. And one of the few champions that I really think can sort of benefit from that. Of course, I know Ghost gives him AD, but you have the ultimate to get in and out. It's on such a short cooldown. That's what I was really expecting, because we've seen Ethug a ton of times bring Ignite Smite, and this is a champion that I thought was paramount to bring that on, but he's not going to do that, so now I feel a little sad.
You know, it's kind of hard to give an advantage to your potion when your enemy laner just goes and buys Darkseal as well. But, I mean, you know, you're trying to eke out as much of an advantage. You have the range advantage and a tiny CS lead, both in the mid and bottom lane. It is, of course, getting beaten out or equated here in the top and jungle role, so we'll have to see who actually emerges a victor in terms of gold lead. Pretty dead even, though, right now. About 200 gold separating the two teams.
Yeah, and half of that gold lead is thanks to Dean being able to steal away a Gromp. So, I mean, that is just still hilarious to be that a support got that. Just a nice little hook. Really, nothing else too crazy happening. As you talked about, Hecarim has to sort of power farm to get those Triforce, to get those more powerful items. We have seen Ethug in the past for a more lethality build as a knockup's going to land onto Red Hots. Does have the level advantage. Hook's going to miss in the mid lane. Right now, everyone fully disengaging. Red Hots chasing him down. You can see the healing that he can do. Conqueror fully stacked, but both sides going to disengage. Corrupting Potion still favoring a member of Red Hot there. The Snake's going to get hooked out there. He's going to land a double binding. Can Goblin finish off the kill? Snap Trap is going to land. Cleanse now trying to turn it around. Going to get the E as well coming out. So both members of Boise State's bot lane incredibly low. And here comes Salty Inter, but right over a ward. You immediately saw the ping come out, so Boise State knows he's down.
Good hook, and that's kind of how you have to play the lane. Whoever you pick out of these two, because of the way the UNLV drafted this bottom lane, is going to be your prime target for all the damage. Yes, Lux is able to shield whoever gets pulled, but you just got to make sure to make that trade as even as possible. In the wing, though, nice hook here. The Dreadline engaged. The Umbrella is going to come out. Sonic, damn, it's coming out. He's Sonic speed, actually. You can't stop this man. He's too fast. The Ghost, devastating charge. It's all there. Way too much. And the Shockwave was just not enough to deter that kind of dive. Maybe holding it for Hecarim to engage would have been a better call. But don't really know. The hooks are going to be here. The Ignite as well. Snakes is going to be dangerously low. Rock Shot will spell defeat for them as they get an early spray screen as well. Boise State making plays in 2 different lanes. Relatively close to timing, too.
Yeah, great cleanse by Goblin after he had gotten binded to be able to stay alive. You see Salty Inter has hopped onto the Dragon. Hook going to land onto Euphoric. Depth Charge going to come out as well. Here comes Salty Scarface from the back line. They're able to get the kill, but they are going to have to trade the life up a set. Dragon is going to go down. Ornhorn's going to come out onto Red Hots there. He stole it as well. I'm going to use, you can see the amount of healing Silas has, forced to flash away because of the brittle. It looks like both of them are going to be able to disengage, so no one going to come out on top there. But once again, this has been the E-Thug show. Scarface picking up 2 early kills for Boise State, but this time did lose out on the early objective. Want to see if he can get Rift Herald to make it a little bit even.
You know, it's got to be tough, especially in the top lane is where you typically see this. You get ganked, you falter, you die, you immediately TP back to lane, and what happens? You die again to another gank. It's got to feel terrible, but that's kind of the risk you run when you take teleport and don't have defensive wards, especially against how you know Boise State is willing to dive towers. They did it to you last game. You know that they're early game aggressive, and they're going to do the same thing to you. Why not pull a barrier, a cleanse in the mid lane?
Yeah, the cleanse would make sense. I mean, you see cleanse, ironically enough, running it on himself as well. But I will have to say, you do have to give props to UNLV. They didn't sort of give in. They were able to get the Dragon Hook going to miss onto Euphoric, unfortunately. So Boise State not able to pick up another elimination. And you can see now a lot of pressure on Scarface to continue to power farm, to continue to get these ganks out, because he is the only member with the kill. He has that Sheen. He's got to get that Triforce online ASAP to sort of make up for the lack of damage that Ascent's going to have on that mid lane. Nautilus, Ashley are going to land onto Cleanse. He's not going to have a Cleanse to stop anything, but a nice binding onto Dean. He's going to flash forward for the knockup. Cleanse probably going to go down. He tried to fight it out. A nice hook onto Snake. Can Boise State pick up another one? Salty Inter is there. Does not have the ultimate, but it's enough to scare Boise State off. The Broncos going to pick up 1 more, and they're almost up 3K gold.
It is so tough for this bottom lane. You have so much agency. Ash getting consistent slow after slow gives Dean the ability to just walk up and rocket punch that Caitlyn down. And what's Lux going to do? Throw a binding? Even so, it's not enough to deter Boise State from continuing their play. And as we see another rocket grab going to come out here, a lot of damage coming out to Salty Inter, but he is not going to fall as of yet. He's doing a tremendously bigger job keeping himself alive as opposed to the last game getting invaded on a time after time.
Does look like Dean's going to back. Goblin probably has to be careful. He doesn't get hung out by a binding. Does not have the cleanse. Barely outranges that one. Able to pick up the CS. Can't see Caitlyn has got the BF sword as well as the dagger. So going to have a little bit of advantage. But of course, still steal kills for Goblin. Have some gold on. We're going to see a couple of fights. A nice flash. Shockwave going to come out as well. Depth Chart's going to be the one that picks up the kill. Salty Inter is there. The Boise State want to keep fighting. Nice stopwatch to dodge from Ascent. And Boise State gets another one. There is the ultimate from Caitlyn. Doesn't even do anything to Scarface. Boise State just right now dominating that mid lane.
They know that they have the advantage. Again, when you draft Nautilus, you have so much opportunity to commit to these dives, to just full engage. Hecarim is a champion that loves to have laners that have an immense amount of crowd control. And what is that other than Nautilus?
Arrow's going to land on the cleanse. Unfortunately, there was a minion blocking Dean, so he's only able to get the ultimate off. He's going to get caught in a trap. Final Spark is going to come out, but all the while, Cleanse is taking a ton of damage. Boise State, if they can land a hook, probably gets a kill. You can see Cleanse hiding behind his support. Hotshot going to come out. Going to tell them there is no one in the area. They're going to take care of that control word. Probably just disengage. And this has been my favorite fight so far. It's been a wet noodle extravaganza in the top lane. Red Hot and Inspire both trading back and forth, both so much healing that neither one's dropping too low. Red Hot is low. Salty Inter is there as well. No one's picked up the Rift Herald, so there's not going to be any pressure of plates going down, but you have to worry Red Hot. He has picked up the Ornhorn, so we here CB wants to fight. Nice dodge there by Dean. Hook going to land onto Snake's knockup as well. Ignite comes out. Can Snake pick up a kill? Cleanse is going to try and do some damage. He's going to get the kill onto Ash. I saw the cleanse come out from Goblin. I don't know what he exactly cleansed. Maybe a snap trap. And Boise State actually going to lose one there despite the engage. But here we go. Scarface, dodge, hook, dodge charge. Euphoric might get out. He's got to be careful. Hecarim is going to get the kill. He is on a rampage. Can he blast cone away? Teleport is coming in. Knocks Salty Inter over the wall. Here comes Red Hots. He has the Ornhorn if they want to follow up. He's going to call it in. Can he snipe anybody out? No, he cannot. Nice blast cone away by Salty Inter, and I don't think Boise State's going to want to tower dive that.
Phase Rush proving to be a better choice here on the Hecarim. Yeah, it's good on Orianna if you're just in the isolated 1v1, but obviously that's not the case. Boise State continuing to chip away at possibly the weak point of armor for UNLV. This Orianna not having a good time, and it could just be because of the fact that they drafted the Phase Rush.
Yeah, the Phase Rush is an interesting choice, and I like Boise State's strategy of back-to-back games. They've sort of picked one person, and they've just sort of bullied them. Last game it was Salty Inter. This game it appears to be Euphoric, as they're going to see a little bit of an engage in the top lane. Red Hot does have a 2-level advantage, but that's not going to stop Inspire. Conqueror has fully stacked. Ornhorn's going to come out. Look at that healing. What is this champion? 200 years, my goodness. It's going to be a disengage, but that's just not fair.
It's a lot of damage. I mean, he's able to continually, in these extended fights, get full Conqueror out, and of course, that only makes his healing more. Crystalline Arrow's going to be cleansed away from Cleanse himself. He's not going to use this, but you can't cleanse away Scarface's attempt to dive. No, you can! You can outrange it. And Boise State looking for a dive here in the bottom lane and decides to hold their horses. Get it? Horses?
Pun Master Baratel at it. Ace in the hole came out. Fear is going to land onto Snake, but a great binding to shut anything down. Final Spark's going to get the shutdown. Hook on to Cleanse, but Boise State right now is all sorts of split. Dean is incredibly low. Passive shield's not going to be enough to save him. Can Goblin get away? Great job by Dean trying to distract him. There is going to be the red smite. Flash comes out from Goblin. Ult's not going to do enough from Salty Inter. And Boise State giving a little bit of gold back. Good news for them, though. That shutdown went on to Snake and not on to Cleanse or Salty Inter.
I don't know. Luck with gold kind of terrifies me personally.
Better than Caitlyn, right?
True, to some extent, right?
Yeah.
Caitlyn's trying to get through like what, a 1 or 2 item power spike, and she's gonna get there naturally. If this Lux doesn't continue to get these Relic Shield stacks like she can't, you know, it's gonna be, this is her only way to get gold. And this is her big way to be a contributing member, the only other contributing member of Magic Damage. Your 1 in 4 Orianna ain't there yet.
Yeah, that Orianna is incredibly far behind. Hook just misses. Now we are going to have the Ocean Drake up. UNLV has done a great job dominating the objectives. A little bit curious how Boise State hasn't just tried to push their lead and jump onto the Rift Herald to get some extra plates, as plates are now falling. You can see Boise State having the advantage in all of those except the bot lane that's tied 3 aside. Orianna didn't even get a single plate against Nautilus. Even someone in the chat saying Nautilus mid is meta. Watch out for it. It's almost like we're playing Worlds here. Whatever you see on this, you'll probably see in your solo queue game. And Boise State doing a great job, but those objectives, especially Ocean Soul, that could be a game changer.
Yeah, definitely, because it's close. This Orianna sometimes, even despite being 1 in 4, is able to use that Phase Rush along with the Dissonance to try and eke away from the Hecarim. Despite him being so fast, she's almost able to live through the 1v2, and that's kind of what they're looking for. Unfortunately, Salty Inter does not have that Phase Rush. He'll have to use the Flash to get himself to safety. Boise State saying, okay, we put enough pressure mid lane. Let's see if we can get something top now.
Yeah, with the plates falling, has opened up Boise State a bit more. First turret has not gone down. Boise State has the advantage on the top and the mid. They do have to be careful on the bot side, where Goblin unfortunately isn't content to let Cleanse just farm up. The one bright spot right now for UNLV, as you can see, it is a 40 CS difference in the top side, and we've talked about mid. Root is going to land onto Dean. We are going to see the arrow and the hook miss. Final Spark will land, and a teleport's coming out from Inspire, who immediately pops the Ornhorn. We're going to see Dean all alone. He is going to go down to Euphoric. Boise State is going to get caught out as Ascent goes down as well, and a great rotation by the Runnin' Rebels. They're going to give up first tower, but that's more than worth it right now. You can see the pings going out. They know he's on Rift Herald, but as you hear a cry, good job by Scarface taking that one down.
Is it worth it? They already had second Drake. Having both your mid laner, who's 1, 2, and 3, or 1, 1, and 3 at that point, it's not in a carry position right now. It's still Nautilus, and your Blitzcrank falter for both first tower and then also first Shelly. I think it's better for Boise State there.
Yeah, it does depend how much value Shelly gets. If she gets nothing,
True.
then that does go over to
Absolutely.
UNLV. So maybe you drop it when the Dragon's coming up to prevent UNLV from getting towards Soul. Now, the first turret went in the top lane, not something that's going to be easy, as we're going to see Scarface jump in. Root's going to land. Is it going to be enough? Ult's going to be used, and Scarface going to pick up the solo kill and come out alive. Looks like Rift Herald is going to be dropped. Should be enough for Boise State as the Shockwave comes out. He's incredibly low. He will go down. Looks like Shelly's going to get one charge, but that's once again Scarface going down, and Boise State going to have to disengage, but they're going to get at least a charge.
Usually you hold Shelly for mid-priority so you can get the Dragon, but obviously they wanted to commit to getting the tower or maybe another chunk. A lot of damage coming out, and the Piltover Beastmaker acing the whole combo. A lot of damage on this non-tank Nautilus, but not enough to take him out. This Caitlyn is definitely ahead. Unfortunately for him, Salty Inter is not going to be ahead of this play as Red Hots as well as Dean continue to chain this man up and put him back in a familiar state to that game one.
Fish and Barretto calling Mountain West League of Legends Fall Tournament action. Boise State and UNLV, the 1-seeded Broncos, taking on the 9th-seeded Rebels. Broncos up 1-0, trying to close things out here in our best-of-3 and advance on to the next round, where they could face Colorado State, who I'm sure Bronco fans do not have fond memories of from last semester. And you have to say, you love how Boise State's been playing it. This game is a lot closer in terms of kills, as Scarface does have Inspire caught out all alone. See if he's going to be able to do enough damage with just the Triforce. There is the Ornhorn going to come out. Scarface got to be careful, is going to get knocked up with the Brittle, but he's still just doing too much damage for this Ornn to withstand. You can see there's 2 members of UNLV charging down, nowhere close enough, and a great solo kill on the 6-2-1 Hecarim.
Now, I do appreciate the phase rush. I mean, it's giving him a lot of damage once he gets it popped. My only concern is how often he wants to fight. I almost think that for his playstyle, Conqueror is just an overall better choice.
Gotta go fast, Barretto. That's all I gotta say to you.
He's got Ghost, he's got Hecarim.
Faster,
nice
faster, faster.
From Dean. That is the song, after all.
I agree with you. I think Conqueror's just a better choice on the Hecarim, but both players today have played Phase Rush, so maybe what do we know? It didn't work out for UNLV. It's off to a great start for Boise State. We're going to see Red Hot's going to jump in onto Salty Inter. He is caught all alone. Going to get knocked up there by Dean. What a flash forward. He had the next rocket grab onto Cleanse. Scarface going to get a kill on the back line as well as Euphoric goes down. Boise State up 2. Red Hot wants to keep fighting. You can see the healing. Unfortunately, he's going to get rooted and Final Spark under tower range, so Boise State's going to give one back, but with the Dragon spawning, this should be easy enough for Boise State to at least prevent Ocean Soul from coming out.
Let me just say how lovely it is to see Dean on a support that has so much agency. I mean, of course, he plays a lot of supports to such an nth degree, being, of course, a challenger player. But watching him play Blitzcrank versus watching him play Yuumi, it's like night and day. And he is playing this in such a way, like, you ever play Tetris and you know somehow what block's going to happen next? So you set up 3 rows of blocks because you know you're going to get through this straight line of 4. That's what he's doing right now at UNLV.
I mean, with the 300 IQ flash, I'm going to hook in Cleanse because he's our next target. I know you guys are going to be able to take down Salty Inter. Didn't work out, but yeah, as you mentioned, this is really him just next level asserting dominance. I'll be curious to see how Boise State can keep it up, because the one downfall for Blitzcrank that we've seen in the past, not from Dean, but just in high-level games, is Blitzcrank forces your team to keep going and engaging. If UNLV gets a lead, you don't want to engage with the Blitzcrank team, so Boise State has to be careful that if they start losing their advantage, that they don't start fights that they don't want to, because we've already seen it go against them once where we saw a great hook, and they ended up losing 2 members.
Right. It's going to be tough again. We've talked about it. We talked about it in the early draft. You and Globally talked about it as well when you guys went over the draft overall. UNLV has a fantastic team fight, but how often besides that weird 2v5 are they able to get 5 members in one area?
The Ornhorn stolen there by Red Hot. Does he want to pop it on Inspired? Terry is going to at least push him away. Shockwave's going to come out onto Dean. Him and his center are both there. You can see Scarface is coming, but he's not even needed. Final Spark did not do nearly enough damage. Just a Hextech GOP on the side of Snake. So despite those 3 kills, really does not have a ton of damage. Yeah. I'm used to more, the typical Lux support items, right? Buried Tail, the Rabadons, the Luden's Echo, things you see in normal support build. That's what I'm used to seeing Lux have. So the fact that he's behind on his support build is kind of sad.
It's crazy because you had mentioned it immediately. Having Glacial Augment on Lux is kind of a crutch. You are not able to get out as much damage. Yes, you're able to get more crowd control because it gives you the slow, Dean's gonna get slowed here by the same item that we just talked about. But where's the damage to fall off? If instead he went Comet, or maybe even the hypey Dark Harvest, you get a Luden's proc with any sort of other ability in the ultimate, whatever champion on Boise State, if it's not Hecarim or Silas, they're dead.
And your Lucent Singularity slows as well until you pop the E. As we're going to see Red Hot's throwing out the Orange Horn, was just running out of duration, hits Inspire, but nothing to come of it. I mean, you have a slow in your kit. Now, yes, it's not the traditional slow, but it's still there. So, yeah, this feels like a very weird crutch pick. I just noticed, he has heal. How often do you see a support bring heal? Is this season
when
like
your
2?
When your ADC's name is Cleansing, you can bet he's going to take it. But why take heal on Lux? Why not play a different champion that can benefit with it? Yes, of course you could take Revitalize to get the shield a little bit higher, but why not pick something with a little bit more oomph to it? You know, in this particular situation, when you know that Hecarim is coming in, a Taric might have been a great option for you here. Maybe even like the Leona for Disengage, or, you know, maybe a Rakan, something that can provide extra sustain to utilize the necessity to take heal on the support.
And even going in against a Hecarim and a Silas, bringing something like Ignite to stop the healing. I mean, we've seen how sustained Red Hot can be. We've talked about it with Scarface. Of course, potentially you could have been thinking it was Conquer. It is ending up being Phase Rush, but there are just so much better options for Snakes. So I'll be curious to see when Grievous Wounds is going to be built, because right now, besides the Ornn, who only has it when you attack him, Red Hots can just out-sustain, I bet you, most of the damage UNLV can throw at him.
Kingslayer is a very balanced ability.
Yes.
You know, Conqueror is also very balanced.
Mm-hmm.
They've given about 200 years of thought into those two in particular. And Hecarim's also a 200-year developed champion with this Death Stance as well. So you are definitely hitting the nail right on the head. You need some sort of consistent healing reduction. Yes, the Oblivion Orb's here on the Orianna, but it's just not going to be enough.
I mean, this just speaks volumes to the vision difference between these two teams. Boise State started on the Baron. The pings haven't even come out yet. They didn't know Ascent was there. Scarface gonna jump in on the backline. Cleanse is very low. Nice teleport in from Red Hot using the Shockwave against him. Scarface gonna pick up one. Ascent forced to stopwatch. Double kill onto Scarface. Let's take down Ornn and Boise State. There it is, the ace, just like that. They lose one from the grave, but now they're on to Baron.
Let's go. That is exactly what we need to have happen. We continue to say, hey, we know they don't have any vision here. Let's have just our main source of engagement besides our pick, Blitzcrank, sit in this bush and bait them to check Baron because we're not showing on the map. They immediately go forward. The Ghost with the devastating charge and the phase rush catapult Scarface into the backline, and there was just no hope from that point forward.
Yeah, this is just how you imagine Boise State playing the comp. All of the damage going on to Ascent, that could have not been a worse target for UNLV. He's a Nautilus. He's like a support as you see Boise State stalling out. Everyone has respawn, so great job by the Broncos waiting for all 5 members to get the crucial Baron buff. As you see the timer there, going to start counting down. There should at least be probably both tier 2 turrets in top and bottom, potentially an inhibitor in the mid lane. But they are going to potentially concede Ocean Soul. We'll see how fast Boise State can get there. They're trying to burn it down for UNLV. Hook is going to miss onto Snakes. Boise State's going to give the vision. Do the Broncos want to engage onto Salty Inter? Does not appear to be the case. So Ocean Soul, UNLV. The Broncos got to be careful. Orange Horn from Red Hot's going to come out. Scarface hits a ward with the charge, so Boise State's not going to find much.
Okay, so them getting this dragon actually is huge. It may not seem like it because they're 10,000 gold down, but Ocean Soul might be enough with combination of all this healing reduction coming out from the side of UNLV for them to push this through a 5 front-to-back team fight. And again, as we mentioned it, in that situation just down near the Barons, they weren't able to get the 5v5 that they want. The moment that they do, and if they have Ocean Soul on top of it, doesn't matter how much damage Boise State's doing.
Yeah, Ocean Soul has sort of gained notoriety as one of the most strong, if not the strongest Dragon Soul by a wide margin. It's very hard to come back. Hook gonna land onto Euphoric. He's gonna try and Shockwave. It's not gonna matter. He's gonna go down. Ascent's gonna pick up the kill. Boise State, as we talked about, gonna get both tier 2 towers there, and they're gonna keep pushing with their Baron and buff minions. Looks like a 2-2-1 for now, but how can UNLV defend this? If they can at all. Honestly,
I think their Euphoric should not have left the base. Conceding your tier 2 absolutely justified when your main goal is to stem off for 4th Drake Soul. You not being there, that's so much of your wave clear now gone off the map. for about 30 seconds, and that's enough for Boise State to get at least one inhibitor here.
Yeah, one inhibitor mid-tower, the mid-inhibitor turret dropping to about 50%. Super minions in the bot lane. Boise State waiting for the wave to engage to at least be able to take tower aggro. You see the cannon minion is there, and a nice hook gonna land on the cleanse. Final spark gonna be used by Red Hots. Ornhorn gonna be used by Inspire. Gets a double knockup, but right now the only member they have to show for it is Ascent, who gets shut down there by Euphoric. Huge grip onto Snake. He immediately goes down. We do see Boise State dropping incredibly low, but they're gonna be able to disengage with the Baron buff, pick up another inhibitor, but looks like their eyes are on the full inhibitor spread as they're going to go top lane, and Boise State once again only loses Ascent. Why is UNLV focusing down the Nautilus? Hook's going to land on the Euphoric. He gets knocked up. Scarface is there. He charges him. That's a kill for Red Hot. Boise State has their eyes on potentially finishing out this game. It's all on Cleanse and Salty Inter right now. Red Hot's going to go in. Stopwatch used to reset the tower aggro, and Boise State going to be able to get out here. They're going to pick up their third inhibitor, and Boise State loses one member, but is it enough? Inspire gets hooked in. He is going to go down. Can the Broncos have enough oomph to finish the game with the Baron buff non-super minions? Doesn't look like it, but my goodness, Boise State's team fights are just a thing of beauty.
I like the way they're playing this. If they'd gotten a little bit eager to try and end the game with the man advantage or a 3v3, despite this Lux being 4, 5, and 5, Finalis Funklin does a tremendous amount of damage at base, especially when you have the Elusive Singularity to also add to it. So, you know, it's a good idea for them to play things conservatively. They're, of course, winning in spades right now, and they want to make sure that they're not going to do anything that might throw the lead.
Now you can see the 13K gold lead for Boise State. The Ornn items just now starting to come online now that he hits level 13, and this is something you don't ever see every day, Baratel. At level 13, Ornn doesn't even have 2 of his own items. Only 1.
Yeah.
That's how far behind
he is. A little tough. Yeah, we've kind of talked about this already multiple times, and it's unfortunate to harp on it, as in the Crystalline Arrow is going to come out and Cleanse. He does not have it available for him. And oh my goodness, the ace in the hole, the point blank one coming out from Red Hot for the secure. That was a little bit of a style move there, I think.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate. Sorry. UNLV, they drafted a team comp that, again, needed time to get where they needed to. And Boise State said, we're not giving you anything. You're going to have to work for it. And unfortunately, they couldn't.
Yeah, Boise State did a really great job. Huge prop to Red Hot. They're going to see the hook going to land onto Salty Inter. Ornhorn is going to be called in by Red Hot. There's the matching Ornn from Inspire. He's only going to use it to knock up Scarface. Red Hot sustaining through the turret. Now going to use the Zanya to reset aggro. Shockwave going to come out, but not enough damage anywhere. Scarface will go down thanks to the Super Laser. Nice hook onto Inspire, who's forced to flash away. Meanwhile, Super Minions are ravaging both Nexus turrets. They both have gone down. Red Hot's dropping incredibly low. Going to sustain a little bit from the Kingslayer. Huge stopwatcher. Zonya is there used by Ascent to reset the ace in the hole. Unfortunately, not enough. Goblin going to try and do what he can. He does have the Guardian Angel. Him and Dean, the only 2 ones left alive. Looks like Clem's going to be able to pick that one up. Should be able to put a trap down, and that should be a dead ash. Yes, there it is. Goblin does pick up one onto Ornn from the grave. I think the minions took him down.
Oh, no.
Dean gets one onto Euphoric as well, and now it's up to the Super Minions, and he gets a 50 gold! He did it! Dean, what a play from him on Blitzcrank from start to finish. And Boise State going to be 2-0 victors here over UNLV. They're going to move on to the next round in the winner's bracket of the Mountain West League of Legends Fall Tournament.
That was inches from being catastrophic. We had just mentioned how it was appreciated that Boise State didn't get overzealous and didn't continue to dive where they might not have the ability to dive. They immediately go ahead and do that, lose all but 1 member, and Dean, being the hero that he has been for the entire game too, shows up and gets that plus 50 gold.
Nah, and the Super Minions would have got it regardless, so you will have to say, I mean, there wasn't much against Boise State. But, I mean, had UNLV survived, Ocean Drake was coming soon-ish. Maybe the Soul flips it, but it does not matter. Boise State with a great win over UNLV, so they're going to move on. The Broncos, the #1 seed in the Mountain West Fall League of Legends Tournament. They will await the winner of Colorado State and Fresno State, and I'm sure the Broncos would love to take on the Rams, because if you're a Boise State fan, you remember the gut-wrenching 3-hour, I think, long 5-game series we had last semester against Colorado State that was for the Mountain Championship.
Oh, it's somebody's
Whose
birthday!
Is it?
Bum, ba, ba, bum.
Red Hots! Happy birthday, Red Hots!
Red Hot.
Brandon is his first name.
Brandon!
There he is, Brandon, pulling it out. And I mean, hey, what a performance on his birthday, by the way. They said, hey, let's put the man on some carry champions.
Cut the night is yours. Destiny awaits. Oh, wait with so share toast with your closest mates. It's your birthday today, Brandon. It's your birthday today, Brandon. Grab your goodie bags.
Is that him playing Camille?
I think so, yeah. That was definitely a Camille reference right there.
That's Orn, your baby Orn.
Yeah, that's the Horns he was calling, and there's Red Hot. So big happy birthday to him. I'm sure he'll take that as a great birthday present for a 2-0 win over Boise State, over UNLV, advancing into the next round. I know Colorado State was up 1-0 in their series. We'll see if we got that result before we finish tonight's broadcast to know who the Broncos' next opponent is. It's a double elimination tournament if something goes wrong, but Baratel, I mean, what a performance by Boise State. They were the #1 seed for a reason, and they showed it tonight.
And they definitely continued to, not seem like they were taking things lightly. They gave it full commitment. They continued to push all their advantages, and they barely, even for a moment, took their foot off the gas pedal.
Take a look at the bracket there. You can move Boise State on to the next round. Nevada, who is the reigning conference champions, 2-0ing Wyoming earlier today. They've moved on as well. Still waiting the results of Colorado State, Fresno State, and Hawaii, San Jose State. As we said, the Rams did win Game 1 over the Bulldogs. We'll be curious to see if that went to a 3-game series or not. It is going to be played on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and it is double elimination. We don't have to go into the second chance bracket right now because Boise State is not in it, but UNLV's dropped down there. As we get to our Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game, Baratel, your predictions for who it's going to be.
I'm going to give it to Ascent. Busting out a new champion in the mid lane, I guess not new to the mid lane in particular. I'm giving my own Baratel player of the game to Ascent. Oh no! Unbranded, not sponsored, none of that. Although I will buy you a hot dog if you want one, Ascent.
I will say,
playing Nautilus is such an nth degree, phenomenal to watch.
I think everyone played great. I'll preface with that because that would have been my third choice, Baratel.
Sure.
I think E-Thug probably or Scarface definitely is up there, but because it's his birthday and because he played so well, I have to give it to Red Hots. That's the tiebreaker. Him and Scarface were right there for me. Scarface got all the kills. I think Red Hots did a great job preventing Orn from ever being Orn, and the fact that it's his birthday pushes it over top. So I'd have to give it to the birthday boy, Red Hots. See who it is. Could be Dean as well. He played phenomenally on that Blitzcrank. I did not name Goblin Production.
Name all the champions.
I did not name Goblin, but he played great. E-Thug. It's going to be E-Thug. You know what? I think production, we've talked about it in Overwatch, blinded by the kill feed a little bit here.
No, it's okay, because guess who gets the birthday cake at the end of the day? Brandon.
That's
and
true.
Guess who gets a hot dog? Ascent. E-Thug, he got the kills. That's what he gets.
He's got the money.
Dean,
what are you talking about?
He's a support, so he doesn't get anything, unfortunately.
I mean, the picture for E-Thug extremely fitting because he had the money tonight. I mean, incredibly ahead on the Lilia, just dominating performance on the Hecarim. I mean, once again, something we've come to expect from him on whatever jungler he plays. He's going to have a great score, and this time he was a big factor why Boise State was able to win Game 1 and Game 2.
Yeah, and it's just because, a lot of map awareness. He was able to keep track of every time Salty Enter tried to do anything. Either E-Thug was making a play on the other side of the map, or he was there to respond, and it's hard to respond when you're a bunch of gold behind.
Yeah, and I mean, just the confidence to go with the straight Magi's buy. With the Dark Seal in the game, you rarely see that. It's like, hey guys, I want 10 stacks of my Dark Seal. Can I buy a Magi's? No, he's like, I'm buying a Magi. I don't even have any stacks. I don't even have a Dark Seal. So big props to Scarface, E-Thug, same person, same result for Boise State on the Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. Idaho Central Credit Union, who is a great player, makes a team more successful, just like they're helping their members achieve financial success. E-Thug, your player of the game. We take a look at our upcoming broadcast schedule. Just wrapped up the Mountain West League of Legends first round or second round, depending on how you want to call the play-in game. A ton of NACE in the future. Of course, the Mountain West Championships for League of Legends, the fall tournament, as well sprinkled in there on Saturdays and Tuesdays. And Boise State really in all of these games. I mean, Overwatch, I think I've seen them maybe only drop one. Rocket League, they've maybe only dropped one as well. I mean, all three teams have been spectacular. I know Valorant was off to a good start as well, had some audio issues that prevented us from showing them their last game, but everyone's been playing well. We've got the top 5 plays coming up. Before we get to that, though, Baratel, your closing thoughts on Boise State's win over UNLV tonight?
They're doing it. They're heated up. We've been waiting for this kind of Boise State roster for a long time, and I am ecstatic it's here.
Curious to see what they're going to do against their next opponent. We will leave you.
Hey, get off my face.
We will leave you with the top 5 plays, but don't go anywhere. We'll have our post-game interview with the reigning NACE Director of the Year, Doc Haskell. His thoughts on the Broncos' success tonight and who their next opponent could be. Will revenge maybe take the eyes of Boise State against Colorado State if that's coming up? But before we get to that, it's our top 5 plays. Big shout out to Baratel, the chat, production, everyone who was along with us. Don't go anywhere. Here's the top 5.
And
Fighting, not able to find anyone. The Scarface is continuing to engage. The sleeping lullaby will be given out. That's in charge to be pushed out as well. Hookshot's going to be here to re-engage. A lot of damage from Boise State. They just have so much damage, and this Camille will be the first of Boise State to fall. But Goblin flash forward and gets the volley. A tribute to Legolas there for the double kill. Losing one as well, but they're also not done. Scarface is here, and he wants to make as many scars as possible. He's going to go forward, get as much damage, or else he's going to come out. No lullaby needed, because it is the bedtime for UNLV. They have overstayed. They have passed the curfew. Go to bed, or you're grounded.
Fire try. As we get into the post-game press conference here in the Boise State Game Pants Esports Arena, Doc Haskell joining us to talk about Boise State's 2-0 victory over UNLV. And we'll kick off with that, Doc. I know we saw that the Rebels were the 9th seed. You at Boise State and some of the coaches had thought maybe the Rebels were the 3rd best team in the Mountain West. So talk to us about a dominating 2-0 victory and what that means for Boise State going forward in this tournament.
You bet. I mean, UNLV and 8-Bit Esports is no 9th seed anywhere. They are a really, really good organization. They came in roughly with the D2 average about where we were, and it took all of our attention to make sure we had the right game tonight.
We saw a lot of the clips of UNLV's only victory over Boise State in 2018. Another team, another revenge dish potentially. We've heard Colorado State will be the Broncos' opponent on Tuesday. Last time we saw this, it was an epic 5-game battle. How does Boise State handle those emotions going into this next game against the Rams?
They are a really, really tough and smart group of players, and we take them very, very seriously. We took them seriously last time. We even trained to be able to play for that many hours if it went to 5 games. Little mistakes in that 5th game cost us the series. It won't this time.
And then finally, let's talk about Red Hots, the birthday boy. Usually on the tanks, got put on more carry champions. Something you saw against UNLV or something to keep an eye on for Boise State going down, that he's going to play more carries?
Well, you know, keep in mind that Red Hots was an ADC, and so he's used to jumping on targets and getting after it that way. It's been a challenge for Koba and the coaching staff to get him to learn to top lane, the isolation, living on an island. But it was good.
Well, Doc, thank you so much. I know you're more than ecstatic that Boise State had the 2-0 victory, but there's still work to do. Boise State, Colorado State coming up on Tuesday. Of course, the Broncos want to stay on the top side of the bracket. So, Doc, thank you so much. Thanks to everyone. Well, have a good night.